With the Lidl Plus Bakery Spin, you can get a free bakery coupon every time you shop. Just scan Lidl Plus at the checkout, spin, win, and enjoy a free bakery item. Lidl, more to value. One spin per customer per day, subject to availability. Ends 25th of Feb, 18 plus GB only. T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk/podcast to learn more.
When ordinary people take on extraordinary challenges. When it's the finale after weeks of competition. When it's time to go big or go home.
So, who do you want to win?
Him. Good hair.
Classic reason, yeah?
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, plus BBC iPlayer, with all the reality shows you love to talk about. Search TV licence together.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to another huge afternoon on Clyde One Super Scoreboard, with big games up and down the country with every passing week in the title race. The drama, the incentive, the jeopardy rises and rises. That has to wait slightly until tomorrow, but not if you are Hearts, because Hearts are first up. They get to put on the pressure at home to Falkirk before Celtic host Hibs tomorrow and Rangers head to Livingston. Elsewhere though, plenty to play for at other parts of the Premiership table. Dundee United, Kilmarnock and Aberdeen Dundee this afternoon, and Motherwell at St Mirren this evening. So much to look forward to in the company of Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
The Scottish Games status in Europe has gone from bad to worse, and I'm not just talking about Celtic against Stuttgart, but that's a story for another day, because the Premiership has excitement from top to bottom. Hearts, will they recover from that 4-goal pounding at Ibrox last Sunday when they take on Falkirk? No margin for error at Tynecastle. Likewise in Paisley, St Mirren against Motherwell. St Mirren are slipping down that table in a dangerous looking way. But on a positive note, happy birthday Partick Thistle, 150 years old on Thursday. St Johnstone dropped 2 points at Rate on Friday, and today Alec and Mark can go to within 3 points of the league leaders if they beat Airdrie at Firhill.
Another interesting weekend, Gordon, and plenty of talking points. I'm sure we'll be ahead. It's a great opportunity for, as Hugh quite rightly says, to bounce back for Hearts, but they face a good Falkirk side who will go there with confidence. They won there in the cup. But it's a great opportunity to open the gap at the top of the table as well. And then you've got Dundee United, Kilmarnock, everybody's talking about improving. They need to get a result today. Put a bit of pressure on St Mirren, who played in the late game tonight against Motherwell. And as Hugh quite rightly says, speaking to Mark this morning, Partick Thistle, Airdrie, great opportunity to close that gap against St Johnstone.
Yeah, really looking forward today. I think the big one is over at Tynecastle. You look at that game, can Hearts bounce back? We've all spoke about that, but a very, very good Falkirk team they face today. And then certainly one that I've got interest is Dundee United versus Kilmarnock up there. Dundee United getting a good result away to Falkirk last weekend, and Kilmarnock putting on a good first half display against Celtic, taking nothing away from that game. But Daz is absolutely right, they need to pick up points. So really interesting games today.
We're negative enough at the best of times, Hugh, and sometimes it's deserved, but this stuff's to be celebrated, surely. Just this set of circumstances we have, where last week the head-to-heads obviously crank up the drama, but today it becomes about the schedule and Hearts getting to go first, and of course, as we mentioned, they're having to bounce back over to the other two tomorrow afternoon, and this is just going to get better and better. There's no way this tails off anytime soon.
No, look at the run that Celtic have, for example, over the next 12 days. Hibs at home, followed by Aberdeen away, Rangers away, Stuttgart away, Rangers away in the Scottish Cup. Rangers at Livy tomorrow. I was speaking to Big Marv on Thursday, really looking forward to it. He last week was 2 goals down after 5 minutes against Dundee. He knows he can't do that against Rangers tomorrow, and that will be quite the game, as will Celtic Hibs, because after the Stuttgart result and performance, Celtic Park will have a febrile atmosphere tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for everyone, and it's the same how it will be for the next the run up right to the split. Then the split will be very exciting. Even down the bottom of the league is very exciting. But Hearts have got a great opportunity, and then Celtic, I think, will have got a difficult game against Hibs. Nobody loves going to Livy, but they've not won a game since August the 9th. Let's get that by with. So you don't fancy them to upset Rangers. And then obviously you've got a late game tonight, so plenty of talking points.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Strap yourselves in, because the Scottish Premiership, and in fact the other leagues as well, have been guaranteed drama every single week this season, and today promises to be no different. So let's go around the grounds, and it's staring you in the face this time. It is the league leaders. They are still the league leaders despite that result last week. It's Hearts against Falkirk, and David Friel is at Tynecastle.
Yeah, and as the guys were saying, Gordon, this feels like a huge game for Hearts. It's Big Hearts Day here today, a good charity day, and there's big expectation as well. I think you could argue this is Hearts' biggest game of the season so far. After what happened last week, they need to bounce back. They've got a chance to go 5 points clear of Rangers, 6 points ahead of Celtic today. There's been a lot of noise about which team are title favourites since that Ibrox result last weekend. As you say, it's maybe been easy to forget that Derek McInnes's side are still top of the league and very much in the driving seat. He's been very calm since that Rangers defeat. He knows Hearts are in a strong position, but he also knows that finishing February with 2 wins is a must. Hearts have Falkirk today, they've got Aberdeen next weekend, both at Tynecastle, and 6 points would keep them top at the start of March, and I think it's imperative that Hearts do that. They've obviously had their issues. Benny Beringame actually misses today again through injury. Cammy Devlin's still out, Lawrence Shanklin's still out, but they will be back for the run-in. In the next few weeks, these next 2 games feel pivotal if Hearts have any chance of going all the way and winning this league, a first league title they're going for since 1960. They're unbeaten in 13 home games at Tynecastle this season. They've been really, really strong, and they need to keep that run going. Derek McInnes, he's stuck with the bulk of the team that was beating off Rangers last weekend. O'Shea McEntee was obviously injured in that game. He's replaced by Michael Stenvender. And Benny Beringame, as I said, he's picked up an injury in training. I don't think it's too serious, but Thomas Magnuson comes in for him. So Alex Swallow is in goals. Back four is Steinvender, Craig Halkett, Stuart Finlay and Harry Millen. Midfield 2 of Mark Leonard and Thomas Magnuson, with Islam Chesnikov, Aziu, Alexandros Kizaridis and Claudio Braga in attack. Subs for Hearts are Fulton, Kent, McCart, Kabori, Spittle, Forrest, Altena, Karjota and Mato. Now you'll notice Craig Gordon isn't on the bench for Hearts. I'm told he's okay with a nod to Scotland. I don't think it's anything serious. As for Falkirk, this will be a tough game for Hearts. They're a good team. They've been one of the success stories of the season. They're obviously closing in on a top 6 finish. They start today 11 points ahead of Dundee United and Aberdeen, but both have 2 games in hand. So John McGlynn knows how big any kind of result. He would take a draw clearly today to give his side that extra boost towards that top 6 finish. They will take a lot of confidence from knocking Hearts out of the Scottish Cup at Tynecastle on penalties a few weeks ago. It was a huge win for Falkirk. Still in the Scottish Cup, they want to go as far as possible. They did lose 3-0 here in the league earlier this season. They also suffered a 2-0 defeat at home to Hearts. So it will be a tough one for them, but the Bears have so much pace and various threats in attack. I think they'll give Hearts a really good game today. The problems for John McGlynn, however, are at the defensive end. Falkirk have a host of issues. Liam Henderson is suspended after being sent off against Dundee United last weekend. Lewis Nielsen, he can't face his parent club. and Conor Allen is only fit enough for the bench. So that means Cole Donaldson, who hasn't started a league game since last April, he did sign a new contract this week. He will come into central defence and will partner Philip Lisa, who will move from full back into central defence. Louis Marsh also drops out with Kyrell Wilson back in. So Falkirk team's going to be Scott Bain in goals, back four of Keelan Adams, Philip Lisa, Cole Donaldson, Liam McCann, Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate in their usual positions at the base of the midfield, with Calvin Miller, Kyrell Wilson and Ben Brosio in behind Barney Stewart. Subs for Falkirk: Hogarth, Graham, Yates, Cartwright, Allen, Ross, Williams, Marsh and Hart. The referee at Tynecastle is Duncan Nicholson and the VAR is Andrew Dallas.
I mean, David, so many questions will be asked about Hearts, just because, as we said, the intensity is just going up. Everything's getting scrutinised more. You go back to that sort of cliche that you'll always hear. Would Hearts fans have taken being a couple of points clear at the top in the 21st of February? I'm absolutely sure they would have. But everybody else is looking at, are there signs of a slide there? Is this the start of a decline that sees them not be top of the table? How big are those questions today?
I think they're big. I mean, I don't think there's any disgrace in losing that game last weekend. I think Hearts, especially given their missing key players, gave a really good account of themselves against Rangers. They just couldn't really kick on when it got back to 2-2. There's questions to be answered, but I think Derek McInnes's side, time after time, have just done that this season. You know, I spoke about their home record: 13 games, 9 wins, 4 draws. They've been really, really strong at home. They've got so much pace and so much power, and they've also got a motivation today to go and extend that lead, put some pressure on Rangers, put some pressure on Celtic. I think they've answered their questions. I'm one who I'm amazed that they're still top of the league at this stage. I still think they won't win the league, but they're silencing everybody. You know, they're proving people wrong, and you can tell the siege mentality is down in that dressing room. I've seen a big difference in Derek over the last couple of weeks. He's starting to flip it a little bit, where he's actually been a bit more bullish and is trying to foster that siege mentality. I can understand why he's doing it. Hearts still aren't favourites to win this league, but they're in the driving seat. It's in their own hands, and if they win today, they go 5 points clear with 10 games to go. They've actually got a favourable run of fixtures before the split as well, and then obviously so much will be decided after that. But they've put themselves in an unbelievable position. They've got 2 home games coming up, and if they take 6 points out of 6, there's every chance they can go right to the end.
Well, Hugh, it's going to be quite the day at Tynecastle.
I'll play the devil's advocate to everything that David has said. Derek McInnes has been talking his head off since the start of the season. First of all, he said everybody wanted Hearts to fail. Where he got that one from, I've no idea. And then he said that Hearts were annoying people by still being at the top of the league. Don't know where you get that idea from either. Now he says they're overachieving. So he has to make up his mind.
I suppose they just are factually overachieving, aren't they? Budget-wise.
Yeah, but factually they were 13 points ahead of Rangers. Now they're 2 points ahead. And if they don't get maximum points today, there's a chance that Rangers can go top of the league tomorrow.
Well,
so he has to live with it.
But none of that changes the fact, does it? If Hearts finish in the bottom 2, that's an overachievement, like monetary wise.
Yeah, but you know, we have all the arguments about money, but that's a perennial argument. Rangers and Celtic will always have more money than the rest.
Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you finish above one of them, you've overachieved.
Well, I'm not complaining about them saying overachieve. I'm just saying that came third after people don't want us to win it, and then we're annoying people. Now he has to stop talking and they have to start delivering. They lost a bad 3 points at Paisley, and they deservedly lost to Rangers last week and took a bit of a hiding, particularly the second half. So now you've got to stop talking and start getting on with it on the park, because it's getting very, very close to the day when they're not top of the league.
Yeah, again, there's that little bit of pressure coming towards Hearts. We always knew, as they sit top of the league, and they've done fantastic this season, the longer that goes on, and then if the gap narrows and gets closer, which it did last weekend, the pressure starts to build. The pressure starts to build on the players, the management. Questions from the media change towards that as well. They've sat at the top of the tree for so long now, and again, deservedly so, because they've been brilliant this season. But we all spoke about this. When you come towards the end of the season, would the pressure get the better of them? Today there's an opportunity for them to knock that back again, go and beat a Falkirk side. It sounds like Falkirk are obviously down in numbers, players missing, so they're hampered with injuries at this moment in time. So it's a great opportunity for Hearts to bounce back.
Yeah, I fancy Hearts to bounce back today. There's just something about them. I know they're missing a few big hitters. I know Falkirk are a decent side, play good football, going there with that bit of confidence. David touched on it. They've got 2 home games. I think it's, well, I know it's Falkirk today, Aberdeen next home game. 6 out of 6. I think Hearts will be there to the end. I think they deserve to be honest with you, but you've got to keep winning games. I think David was right also about, you can go to Ibrox, you can go to Celtic Park, you can lose games. Listen, they've had the better of Rangers and Celtic this season so far, so you've got to give them all the credit in the world. They've been at the top of the league for over 20 weeks, so it shows you they've got something. So I just think we'll get such an exciting title race that those 3 teams will go head to head all the way.
Let's leave that for now, because that's set up to be an absolute cracker. Hearts with their title ambitions. Falkirk, one of the other success stories of the season, you have to say, for many people already secured in the top 6, but I know John McGlynn will want to secure that even further. Let's go to Dundee United against Kilmarnock, where Fraser Wishart's waiting.
Yeah, I saw United last week, Gordon. I think at the top of the show we're all discussing, would Dundee United in the playoff place be a factor? I said they had to be careful not to drop into a battle, but a really good win at Falkirk, followed by a narrow victory against Spartans in the Cup in midweek, means a win today would end a really good 7 days for the club, and a win would keep them in the running for that top 6 place and set up perhaps an exciting finish to the season, because they're 11 points behind Falkirk. You're just talking about Falkirk being at Tynecastle, and they've 2 games in hand, United, so the gap could close this weekend. They've got a cup quarter final in the next couple of weeks as well against Falkirk to look forward to, so perhaps even a Hampden trip. And Jim Goodwin said the midweek their injuries have cleared up, except for Isaac Papil, who's like a long-term knee injury they'll keep him out all season, and that will really help hugely with so many games coming up for United, because they had 3 games postponed in January, of course, and the pitch wasn't great. It's including 7 games in the next 4 weeks they have to play. So it's an important game. One to open a gap to Kelly to 11 points. Defeat would just leave them a little bit of doubt back in the minds, back to 5 points between the today's opponents. But Kelly, of course, have to get over the disappointment from losing that last minute goal to Celtic after leading 2-0. But I think Neil McCann will be stressing the positives about how well they played against the champions and take real positives from their performance and recent wins. Their form has picked up a bit recently, a bit more life and belief in the team's 2 wins in the last 4 games, but only 7 points in the last 6, and as they only have 11 games to go, it's really vital that Kelly at least stay in touch with those immediately above them, St Mirren and Aberdeen in particular. Tyrese John Jules, he's been the star of the show recently. Bad news for Kilmarnock fans as he misses today's game. It's a real blow. He's a real main threat and being in excellent form, scoring goals, of course, last week against Celtic and a hat-trick recently against St Mirren. So that's a real boost for Dundee United. Talk about the pitch earlier. Those 3 games have been postponed. The pitch looks a bit bare. It's dry, but it looks very compact. Jim Goodwin talked about it might mean percentage football. Neil McCann saying it affect both teams. And Will Ferry, Dundee United left wing back, said the ball would need paracetamol. So I'm hoping for a bit better than that. I'm hoping for a decent 90 minutes of football. Team news, United have 2 changes to a team that played Spartans during the week ago. Strain and Dalziel onto the bench. In come Aggie for his full debut, and Lucas Stevenson. 3-4-3 as always for them. Ashley Maynard Brewer is in goals. Emmanuel Aggie, Yuri Yovo and Ross Graham at the back. Vigo Savelj, Panucci Kamara, Craig Sibbald and Will Ferry across the middle, with Lucas Stevenson, Max Waters and Amir Fatah as the front 3. Their substitutes: Dean Richards, Ryan Strain, Christian Trapanovsky, Julius Eskison, Ivan Dolchek, Neil Farrugia, Zach Sapsford, Christian Carestes and Sam Cleal-Harding. Just that one change. I said John Jules is out injured. In comes Aaron Tichbolo. So a slight change in formation. I think they'll go 4-4-1-1 due to that injury. Kelly Roos in goals, Michael Schoening-Larsen, Ethan Brown, Robbie Dees and Dominic Thompson across the middle. Finlay Curtis, Brad Lyons, Aaron Tichbolo and Greg Kiltie at the 4 in the midfield, with David Watson pushed slightly further forward to support the striker Joe Hugel. The substitutes for Kilmarnock: Max Stryek, Bruce Anderson, Jimmy Brandon, Zach Williams, Rory McKenzie, Liam Polworth, Nicky Klasenko, Jack Thompson and Marley Watkins. Referee today is John Beaton, who was involved in a bit of controversy in the Aberdeen Motherwell game during the week, and VAR is Gavin Duncan.
Plenty to look forward to there. What about Aberdeen, Dundee, Dave Galloway?
Well, Aberdeen got a badly needed lift from their midweek Scottish Cup win over Motherwell, Gordon, but the Premiership form has been dreadful, with just 1 win from 9 matches, leaving them languishing in 8th place. Peter Leven believes they can still catch Falkirk to squeeze into the top 6. but the Dons currently sit closer to second bottom Kilmarnock, and defeat this afternoon could mean some nervous glances in the rear view mirror. Dundee come here without a win in 5 league outings, but they've put in some decent performances of late, and victory would move them to within a point of their hosts. History's against them. The D's haven't won here since 2004, but Stephen Presley's been using that stat to motivate his men, and Elvis is looking forward to facing his predecessor as Dark Blues boss Tony Docherty, who was recently appointed to the Reds coaching staff. Aberdeen make 3 changes this afternoon. In come Morrison, Aremu and Olasanya. Out drop Milne, Shinnie and Milanovic. So it's Brathwaite keeping his place in goals. A back 4 of Devlin, McIntyre, Morrison and Frame. Geiger and Aremu the sitters. Then it's Olasanya, Cameron and Keskinen, with Nisbet leading the Dons' attack. Their subs today: Mitov, Nielsen, Milanovic, Bilalovic, Palaversa, Milne, Lazetic, Jensen and Lobben. What about Dundee? Just the one change for them. In comes Samuels for Halliday, so they go with McCracken in goals. A back 4 of Wright, Astley, Graham and Samuels. Hamilton sitting in front of the back 4, then another bank of 4 in the shape of Congreve, Danda, Cotterill and Ugan, with Murray leading the line. Subs for the Dark Blues today: O'Hara, Donnelly, Digby, Robertson, Montsma, Riley, Bevan, Jones and Valenzuela. Your match referee today here at Pittodrie, where the pitch is looking rather threadbare: Stephen Milne, and Greg Aitkins, your man on VAR.
Always nice to have room for a featured championship game as well. There was one last night which maybe opens the door slightly for Partick Thistle. They're at home to Airdrie. Alison McConnell's watching.
Yeah, as you mentioned just at the top of the programme, this is a massive afternoon for Thistle and their title aspirations. They can go and close the gap now on St Johnstone to just 3 points if they get this win over Airdrie. Simo Valakari's side, of course, just scorning the chance to go 8 points clear last night. They were held in Kirkcaldy, with Thistle now having the opportunity to claw it back. Mark Wilson, he picked up his 3rd Manager of the Month award last week. He's still got a game in hand to play too, so all the signs point to a fairly fraught tete-a-tete between the two before Thistle host St Johnstone here at Firhill later next month, in what would be a hugely intriguing game if it stays so tight at the top. Certainly for Partick Thistle, as they look to get themselves back into the top flight for the first time since 2018, there is a lot to be excited about at Firhill. In terms of team news, Lee Ashcroft has signed a 1-year extension with the club, while Scott Martin, he's been allowed to go out on loan to Queen's Park after his recent injury issues. For Airdrie, it is pressure of an entirely different kind. They find themselves in a relegation battle. They're just a point ahead of Ross County and have played a game more than the Highlanders. Thistle, they've not played since that Scottish Cup win up in Elgin a fortnight ago, with the weather disrupting their momentum, so they should, in theory at least, come out of the traps boosted by that rest that they've had. Airdrie narrowly lost out to St Johnstone last Friday night, but they know that they're fighting for their lives, and any point that they can get along the way could be crucial. However, they'll have to buck a big trend here. They haven't won at Firhill since May 2009, so they'll need to produce something special to come away with a result from Firhill this afternoon. For Thistle, there are 3 changes in terms of the team news. In comes Chalmer, Smith and Let Sosa, as Turner, Crawford and Fitzpatrick all drop out. So it will be Josh Clark in goal, with a back 4 of Ben McPherson, Lee Ashcroft, Dan O'Reilly and Paddy Redding, with Ocean Smith and Ben Stanway just in front. Then you have a bank of 3 with Tishonella, Let Sosa, Logan Chalmers and Tony Watt, with Alex Samuel leading the line. On the bench for Thistle, it's Budenikis, Crawford, Turner, Diak, Macbeth, Fitzpatrick, Lockery, Falconer and Gray. And for Airdrie, 2 changes to that team who lost to St Johnstone just over a week ago, with Thomas and McGrattan coming in, with McKinnon and Telfer dropping out. So it looks like Harry Stone in goal, with a back 4 of Dylan McDonald, Craig Ross, Charlie MacArthur and Lewis Strapp, and then a middle 4 of Dom Thomas, Dean McMaster, Jamie Barjonas, Lewis McGrattan and Ewan Henderson and Chris Mockery up top. On the bench for Airdrie it is Melrose, McGinty, Gallagher, Mahon, Devine, Telfer, McKinnon, Constable and Hasty, and the referee this afternoon at Firhill is Ewan Anderson.
Lots to look forward to then. That is you up to speed with the team news and the previews ahead of all our featured matches. We take a look back at some of the week's biggest talking points when we return.
Because you bought your robot vacuum on your Barclay card, you got 0% interest for up to 24 months, which makes watching it, hypnotically sweeping up your crumbs, even more satisfying. Oh, Mr. Bit. What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Barclay card. Make money work for you. Subject to financial status. New customers only. Representative example, 24.9% APR representative variable, 24.9% purchase rate per annum based on £1,200 credit limit. T's and C's apply.
Scottish Gas have this thing. We call it home care. We'll fix all sorts, and it's unlimited repairs. Expert engineers will solve the upset of boilers not boilering or taps that won't wet. Electrics playing tricks, or a pipe that's broke. We're there for everyone, even blue furry folk. Your home won't feel booby-trapped. It'll feel just like new. Scottish Gas, taking care of things and looking after you. T's and C's apply. Excess options available per repair.
Hey Sainsbury's, any way you can save me a few quid on my weekly shop?
Well, Jane, try Your Nectar Prices. Every week in Your Nectar app, you can unlock up to 10 personalised discounts on things you love at Sainsbury's. A Janesbury's, if you will.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Get personalised discounts with Your Nectar Prices. That's good food for all of us. Sainsbury's. 18 plus Nectar app required. Unlock up to 10 Your Nectar Prices weekly. Available in supermarkets, online and in locals with Smart Shop. T&Cs apply.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Because you like spotting yellow cars before your kids do. Because you like to read the score on the screen, especially when you're winning. Because there's a Boots Opticians about 2 minutes from work. Because we have clinical experts and all the latest tech. Because your eyes deserve our ultimate eye test. Because we'll help you find your perfect style. Because of all these things, there's only one choice. Boots Opticians. See what's possible.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
You're living with cancer. You're waiting for results. It's 3 a.m. And while everyone's asleep, you're wide awake. What do? Join the Macmillan Online Community. It's a safe, anonymous online forum full of help, support and friendship from people who know just what it's like to have cancer. To find them, search Macmillan Online Community.
Stop, listen, chicken. The 10 mini fillet bucket, $7.99. 10 succulent mini fillets. Buy, eat, digest. Good, repeat. Get the deal, believe in chicken. KFC. Until 22nd of March, subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. Excludes delivery. Full T's and C's at kfc.co.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Wrong tool for the job? Don't make that mistake with your van. Get up to 30% off selected new Toyota vans and pickups with a warranty up to 10 years or 100,000 miles with every qualifying routine service. Visit your nearest Toyota centre or visit toyota.co.uk/van savings for more details. Savings on selected vans and pickups ordered by the 31st of March 2026. UK residents. See toyota.co.uk for full details. T's and C's apply.
A Rayo original podcast.
Hello, I'm Pete Wicks and my podcast Man Made is back for Series 2. I'm sitting down with more of my mates and famous faces to talk modern masculinity, who we are, who we want to be and how we get there.
Am I enough as any of these things? Am I any good at these things?
Anger takes the place, I think, for men. Listen to Pete Wicks' Man Made now. New episodes every Wednesday on the Rayo app, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Max Millions, the casino with winnings that are in a completely different universe. Max Millions. Make a splash and win up to 500 free spins playing Storm to Riches, plus dazzling daily jackpots on fluffy favourites and Big Bass Splash. Take your seat at maxmillions.com. New players only, £10 minimum deposit, terms apply, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please play responsibly.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team are around the grounds, and we've already given you team news and a preview ahead of all of our featured matches. So with that in mind, let's stick true to form and look back at the week's biggest talking points, and it feels like Celtic Park on Thursday night is the obvious place to begin. Hugh Keevins.
Yep, low point of the season for Celtic. Bad performance, bad result, bad optics with the start of the game disrupted by balls being thrown onto the park by disgruntled supporters. Bad from Martin O'Neill afterwards when he suggested that some supporters needed their heads examined. Just a very, very bad night for Celtic, and the return in Stuttgart, to be perfectly honest, doesn't bear thinking about for Celtic. Now it's a question of how all of this impacts on the team tomorrow against Hibs. The atmosphere in the ground will be peculiar. Brian Wilson, the chairman, tried to issue a statement last night imploring the fans to get on side again. However, he says you can't rule out the possibility of further disruptions at games. Might it be tomorrow? We had 2 hours of calls last night on Super Scoreboard from Celtic fans who were arguing over why the club has been reduced to this state. One man even claimed it was all the fault of Brendan Rodgers, which was a nonsensical claim.
It was unlike Dermot Desmond to phone in, I thought, on a Friday night.
Fair enough, but he completely overlooked Wilfred Nancy and the 12 league points shed while he was the manager. Celtic, the fans are in dispute with the club. The club has, for me, a squad that's not good enough to negotiate what's in front of them. They're in a mess.
We don't have time for the Brendan Rodgers or Wilfred Nancy years at the moment, David Friel. Specifically on Thursday, how big a problem does Celtic have in goal at the moment?
A huge problem, Gordon. I think it's becoming a real concern. I keep hearing this word liability about Kasper Schmeichel, and I can understand where people are coming from. It's happening far too often. He's nowhere near the goalkeeper he was for the first 9 months of his Celtic career. I think since the injury he got towards the end of last season, he's never been the same, and this is happening far too regularly. He's making, he's still capable of making big saves, he's still capable of that big moment, but he's chucking them in. Shots that he should be saving or at least getting a hand to, he's not doing that. And I think Martin O'Neill's got a huge call to make tomorrow, because personally I'm looking at Martin O'Neill's words about Kasper Schmeichel and the way he is around him, and I still feel that he thinks that Kasper Schmeichel is more capable of that big moment. But the question you would ask is Vuljami Sinisalo just just a safer pair of hands right now? Because Celtic can't, their defence is, I'm not saying bad enough, but their defence is struggling as it is. When you've got someone behind you who isn't putting any confidence in the team or the supporters, I think it becomes a big call. Personally, I think he probably will stick with Kasper Schmeichel, but I think he would be very lucky to keep his place for the Hibs game.
So you would change the goalkeeper though? If it was
I personally would change the goalkeeper, yeah, because I just think it's happening too often. You could probably look back and it's probably in double figures this season, goals that Kasper Schmeichel should probably keep out. You look at the one at Kilmarnock last weekend, there was 2 during the week. You think back to the Mikey Moore goal, you think back to the Braga game. It's just happening far too often. He's way past his best. He's probably entering the last few months of his entire professional career here, Gordon. Kasper Schmeichel, I can't see him continuing beyond the summer. And look, it would probably a low point of his career if he was to get benched for that period, but I don't think Celtic can take any chances. But as I say all that, I do think Martin O'Neill is probably going to stick with him.
A goalkeeper in the studio, of course. Cammy, what are you recognising? Is that a goalie that needs taken out?
It's difficult because a goalkeeper of Kasper's experience and what he's been through in his career, it's difficult to say, is this the right moment to take him out, or do you trust him to turn this around? I totally get what David's saying. He's made a lot of mistakes this season. When you look at the goals he lost midweek, again, the first goal I look back at, they try and play out from the back. I think he passes out to Scales, who's the left centre back, and he plays it back to him. For me, Kasper's got to go longer. He almost tries to chip it into the midfield, and then they lose the ball, and yes, he should save the shot that comes in after that. He's very slow in getting down. I think the third goal, where he's at fault as well, he tries to generate power with his hand. He almost tries to force his hand to it instead of it's a ball that's going to bounce in front of you. I think you just need your hand there and be firm to push it away. You can use two hands. Yeah, there's options there. I think he makes the wrong choice. I was at the game on Sunday, and you looked at the decision that he made when the cross comes in for Kilmarnock's goal. He takes that step forward, then he can't adjust his feet quick enough. I just think he looks as if he is a little bit slower, a lot slower than he has been recently. I think he is struggling confidence wise. He doesn't show that, but I think internally he will be struggling confidence wise. I still believe he will play tomorrow. I don't think Martin O'Neill's the type of manager that will go in and change it. I think he'll believe that Kasper can produce a performance tomorrow to turn it around. But listen, Celtic aren't, I totally agree with David, they're not in the position to carry passengers at this moment in time.
Would you change?
100%. Yeah, really? Yeah. Listen, Kasper Schmeichel has been, and he's been a magnificent goalkeeper. Let's not take anything away from his career. He's magnificent. It's the here and now for me. I totally agree what he says there about the fact that he's not playing with any confidence.
No,
Cammy, you know a goalkeeper. You can see that in his face. He's not playing with confidence. Look, he's still got great ability. He doesn't look fit to me for some reason. He doesn't look that sharp. Everything about him, his movement, he just. I feel for him.
Let me put another scenario to you. If Kasper Schmeichel was an honest professional, he would go to Martin O'Neill and say, and I know, it's not happening for me right now.
No, I don't think, Hugh, we've been in the game. Cammy will tell you better. He knows it from a goalkeeper's point of view.
Players just don't do it, do they?
No, they don't.
And you back yourself. Ultimately, I've been through loads of bad times in my career, and you still want to play that next game because you want to get it right for the team. You want to get it right for the club.
The big thing is, when you're an outfield player, you've got other guys round about you. See, your goalkeeper, you're more isolated, aren't you? So I don't think you would make that.
Fraser, it would be wrong to say this was all Kasper Schmeichel's fault. There's a lot going wrong at Celtic at the moment, which I'm sure we'll get to. Problem with a game like the other night is Celtic fans probably knew they were up against it. I don't think many had these real high hopes of Europe, but you watch the game and you don't recognise this massive gulf. I don't think there's loads in the game, and yet you're going to ship 4 goals. So it's an unforgiving environment now. I can see YouTube compilations have been compiled of all these recent mistakes. There's no escaping it. What do you make of that situation Celtic have in their hands?
No, there's no escaping it at all, and he's been such a wonderful goalkeeper, but it's not just the impact of him making mistakes, it's also the impact he would have on his defence as well, because they'll be maybe a wee bit more wary, a wee bit more nervy as well. Do they have that confidence, the guy behind them is going to make these saves? I mean it's amazing how 12 months ago Celtic were playing against a top Bundesliga clubs in Bayern Munich and took them to the last seconds, almost knocked them out in the Champions League to where they were the other night. It was just, and I think the whole supporter thing as well is having an effect just around everybody at the football club, on and off the field, and in other supporters as well. And it's amazing. I mean, if they win the league, then there's still going to be huge changes over the summertime. I'm looking at the goalkeeper position and I'm thinking they've got big games coming up, and I think Sinisalo will probably get his chance against Stuttgart. Martin O'Neill must be thinking, right, I personally would keep with Schmeichel tomorrow, and I would look at Sinisalo on Thursday against Stuttgart, because after that, of course, there's 2 Old Firm games. There's Aberdeen away, there's Motherwell at home in those 4 games, and he's going to have to be convinced that Sinisalo can do better than Schmeichel, even though he's out of form. So I think the next couple of games he'll be looking at Schmeichel tomorrow, Sinisalo Thursday, and then the big choice is, does he put Sinisalo in against Rangers in the Premiership in that huge game on the 1st of March?
But as we said, Alison McConnell, that's just one of many issues staring Celtic in the face at the moment. Give us your summation of thoughts on the protest in the first place, Martin O'Neill's reaction to it, and then the follow-up statement by Brian Wilson last night.
Yeah, where to begin with it? It is a civil war that has been bubbling under the surface. I think you could go back to the COVID season, but it has really come to the fore across the last 9 months or so, and the honest answer is that I don't know where Celtic go from here. I think it could need all the powers of diplomacy to try and get everyone back on track, but I also think that there is no question about the negative impact that it is having on the team as a whole. I think I was working on Thursday night. I was also at the last European game. I cannot remember a quieter Celtic Park on a European night. The atmosphere was absolutely appalling. It was so flat. It wasn't even that you have the anger or you have the protest and there's the energy of disgruntled supporters. It was just entirely flat. That small section of Stuttgart fans that came, like they sang from first minute to last, and without that noise it would have been like walking into a library at Celtic Park, and I think that is a real problem where Celtic go forward. Also, you're not too far away too from asking people to renew season tickets to buy into what's happening at the club. But I saw Chris Sutton saying that he would offer to mediate, and on behalf of the supporters and the board, it is going to take something to say you have to perhaps park this until now, between now and the end of the season, and then raise your grievances then and try and work them out. This idea of sack the board and all the rest of it, there is no mechanism to sack the board. So what is the answer that you're looking for? What is a legitimate way forward here that works for everyone, or is there a legitimate way forward? But certainly for me, I think unquestionably the people who are caught in the crossfire and caught in the middle are the players, and there is no doubt that it has a very negative impact on performances, on atmosphere. I think there was a contrast, you could say, at Rugby Park last weekend. Even when Celtic were trailing 2-0 to Kilmarnock, the support stayed with them at Rugby Park. They stayed behind them. They didn't have the same disgruntlement. They weren't on the backs of the players to the same extent, and of course they got the reaction and they got the reward that they were looking for. You go to Celtic Park and everything that's going on around the club, for me, no doubt at all that it takes away from the performance on the park, and it lends an edge to performances. I think you see players who are inhibited by it, don't want the ball at times, don't want to make mistakes, are very fearful. If you've got a team going for a title and it's about to get very fraught across the run-in, I think it's the last thing that you need.
I did see Chris Sutton throwing his hat into the ring to mediate between the two parties. I think we could add you to that list. You'd be popular there.
Yeah, I'm sure the Celtic fans would like me. Could you bring peace and harmony? I am the man for the job. I am the man who can guide Chris Sutton through this.
Wow, there's a thought. Sum it up for us, Hugh, to finish if you can, because I think the Brian Wilson statement sort of broke whilst we were on air last night. I think Brian Wilson has let it be known that there is no agreement possible at this time with the Celtic fan collective or with the Green Brigade, because he said he couldn't readmit them, the Green Brigade, on an unconditional basis. That means that they're not prepared to just come back and be the noise that Celtic Park lacks. I think the club's season will be decided over the next 12 days. I fear for them in Stuttgart, and I underline the word I fear for Celtic in Stuttgart and what that might look like. The two games at Ibrox, League and Cup, Celtic have to make sure their season isn't over by Sunday the 8th of March. Quickly to you, David Field, I meant to get your opinion on it because I know you're quite close to these things. What did you make of Martin O'Neill? Well, like I say, almost similar question. The protest itself, is that right? Is it wrong? The way Martin O'Neill handled it, did that help? And then the follow-up from the interim chairman.
Yeah, the protest was just needless, mindless, call it what you want. I think Martin O'Neill was just exasperated, Gordon. I think he'd seen enough. he's trying his very, very best. He's come in to try and rescue Celtic's season, and he's sitting down for a European game, which is meant to be a pretty special night, and it was just ruined straight away. Look, I always think it's important to state, as Alison said, look, the frustrations of Celtic fans over the last 12 months are understandable. The place is absolutely unrecognisable. From even last February, when Celtic went toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich, the team's unrecognisable, the stadium, the atmosphere, everything. And there will be change, there has to be change. But Celtic have, Hugh spoke about 12 days. Celtic have 12 Premiership games across 12 weeks. Can people not just park their grievances and their differences for that period of time and call some sort of truce just for the greater good to try and get Celtic back on track and try and get Celtic over the line in the Premiership title? And he's talking about Brian Wilson's statement. He used the term good faith. I think that's been jumped upon by quite a lot looking at social media reaction. But what else is he meant to do? He's trying to have dialogue with people. He's trying to have talks with supporters groups, and in the middle of that, you've got this tennis ball stunt that just doesn't help anybody. And as you say, you've now got fans in fighting, you've now got Martin O'Neill getting on the neck, and the only impact is going to be on the pitch. I don't really see a resolution anytime soon, but I think for the greater good of Celtic, there has to be some sort of truce.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but in the meantime, we've got plenty to focus on today, and we go back round the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. 12 minutes to be precise until kick-off, and what a Saturday afternoon it is going to be. There were times on this show when a Saturday would come around, if Celtic and Rangers weren't playing, it would mean it was a bit quieter. How can that be the case when the league leaders are in action and everybody else involved is waiting to see how they get on? It is Hearts against Falkirk, David Friel, and I just wonder what the atmosphere will be like inside Tynecastle. Derek McInnes said that the Ibrox crowd really helped Rangers last week. I felt like he made a deliberate point of mentioning that, almost as if it was a call to his own fans to crank it up a notch.
Tynecastle, look, when Tynecastle's good and Hearts are playing well, it's a formidable place. There can be some grumbling and groans when it's not going well, so I think Derek McInnes will just be asking his team to get the fans on side today as they look for 3 big points. But there's a bit of breaking news here, Gordon, that Adju, who was due to make his first start for Hearts at Tynecastle 6 months after signing, won't be playing anymore. He's out the team. He must have picked up an injury in the warm-up, and Blair Spittle is in, so that's another blow for Derek McInnes. I spoke earlier on about, he's already missing Cammy Devlin, Benny Beningame missing, Ocean McEntee missing, and now Adju, who everybody was looking forward to seeing. He came with such a big reputation, Hearts record signing, but he won't now be playing, and Blair Spittle is coming in, so that's a blow for Hearts and their preparation just minutes before kick-off here.
That's a very different midfield now, isn't it? If you think about having Cammy Devlin and Beningame as your first choice, and then neither of them being available, but maybe you can call on the big money signing. He's not there either. I know Mark Leonard kind of came in to replace Cammy Devlin, but to add that obviously to the continued absence of Lawrence Shanklin, that's not ideal for Hearts. No,
it's a huge blow, and I think Adju was bought to make a difference, to be bring the X factor, be a game changer. I've recalled it a few times when Derek McInnes spoke about it and said he hadn't been that excited about a player since signing James Maddison for Aberdeen. So he arrived with big hopes, big expectations. He's hardly played through injury. As I said, he's never actually started the game at Tynecastle. This was going to be his big day, and I think Derek McInnes had almost pinpointed him as being a major player over the last 11 games, but I don't know what's happened, but he's not going to be in the starting 11 today. As I said, Hearts have had to reshape everything. Blair Spittle, look, a very good player, good pro, good on set pieces, and will carry a goal threat for Hearts, but obviously it's not ideal for Derek McInnes. Minutes, as I said, just before such a big game.
Yeah, that's a blow for sure. Let's check in again with Dundee United Kilmarnock on the subject of injury absentees. Just how much do you think Killie will miss Tyrese John Jules Fraser? He was such a key part of that kind of mini revival they'd had under Neil McCann and the good performance against Celtic. If he's now not in the team for a prolonged period, how much of a difference do you think that makes?
I think it's a huge difference. I saw him play earlier on in the season a few times, and he was playing wide on the left, but since Neil McCann's come in, he's been playing through the middle, and with Joe Hugel, the other striker who they've signed recently as well, they looked good. They both scored last week and they assisted each other's goals against Celtic, but he's a big lad, he's powerful, he runs well, but he's got a good touch as well, he's strong, and I think it's a huge miss for them today. They've chosen to bring in Spola to shore up the midfield rather than maybe bring in Bruce Anderson. But when you're down at the bottom, you need somebody who's going to put the ball in the back of the net, and he's been the main man for the last wee while for Kilmarnock. So I think it's a huge blow, and it might just swing today in favour, in my mind anyway, of Dundee United, who I think will get the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that game at Pittodrie as well, Dave Galloway, is the feeling amongst the Aberdeen fans they can still make that top six? You do still have the Scottish Cup to play for, obviously, having beaten Motherwell during the week. Does the top six feel reachable, or have the home fans resigned to the fact that Falkirk might get in there or stay in there, I should say?
I would say, Gordon, that opinion is very much divided. There's a train of thought amongst the Aberdeen support that says, yes, we can really kick on after getting through to the last 8 of the Scottish Cup. That can really kind of light the blue touch paper on the remainder of the season. But there's a growing number that are starting to look behind them, and it wouldn't take much for Aberdeen to be sucked into a relegation dogfight. So today's match absolutely crucial. It's obviously very interesting as well, talking about how the fans feel to read Aberdeen's top managerial target Eric Hornland being non-committal when asked directly about taking over the hot seat here, saying simply, we'll see what happens in the summer. That has not helped the mood of the fans. It's made them a bit more restless and a bit more twitchy, so it'll be very interesting to see how that one pans out. Dundee, looking at them, they've played some decent football of late, although they haven't scored in 3 successive away league games. But how they'd love to grab that first win at Pittodrie for 22 years as they try to edge further away from the danger zone. And an interesting sideline for this one, Gordon, their hosts haven't kept a clean sheet in the Premiership since November.
It's quite a long time, has to be said. I love the look of that game as well. Cammy, you look at his 8th against 9th in the Premiership. It just feels like every game now is going to have something really riding on it.
Yeah, certainly will. And again, you look at Aberdeen, they'll get a little bit of confidence from what happened midweek, but Dundee will go up there knowing that they need to get points. It's an important game for them. It's another opportunity, a team that's been right out of form within league form. But I think Stephen Presley will look at that game and think he can take something away from Pittodrie today. So it's going to be a really intriguing game.
I'm actually worried about Alison McConnell slightly, because Partick Thistle against Deirdre should be good, but unfortunately championship moment of the season was moment of the weekend at least was already sewn up last night when St Johnstone somehow missed a sitter from 1 yard, then blasted it off Josh Fowler's face. It was absolutely incredible. We had great fun watching it back this morning.
Not so much fun for Simo Valakari, but is it fate? 150 years old on Thursday. St Johnstone drop 2 points on Friday, and on Saturday Thistle have the chance to go within 3 points of the league leaders. I think Alison will be looking at a Jags win.
It feels, Alison, like no one's ever quite ready to give Partick Thistle the full complement of being in with a real proper chance of winning it. It feels like the perception is that St Johnstone will just always be able to keep them at arm's length, but today's vital to maybe try and shift that narrative a bit, isn't it?
I think so too. I would agree with you. I think when St Johnstone went down and the way they started the season in the Championship, they just looked like the team to beat. They set a fairly ferocious pace, and I think when you have discussed about who might go up, the conversation has tended to sway towards maybe the playoff places for Thistle. I think a win today could change that perception and change the narrative entirely. It would take them within 3 points, still have a game in hand, and then of course that Friday night game, I think it's the 20th of March, so a month away or so, when they host St Johnstone here. That could be a huge night in determining just where they go. But I think there's a real quiet confidence, I think, about Thistle. It's quite a small squad, quite a tight-knit squad. You can sense there's a bit of camaraderie within it, and I sense too that Mark Wilson and Alec Ray maybe just quite enjoy the fact that they're not dominating the Championship conversation, that they're seen as an outside bet.
What about the horror on Gordon Dale's face when he listened to Alison's preview and realised that Mark Wilson had landed a 3rd Manager of the Month? You weren't aware of that? You thought it was just the double?
I spoke to him today, he never even told me. I'm delighted he never told me.
Is it starting to worry you now?
Well, that's him caught up with me, yeah.
And he's done, I think it's 3 in a row.
Is it 3 in a row?
He's nailed it.
The reason why
the championship's poor this year.
You're gutted, aren't you?
The reason why people don't take Partick Thistle seriously is because the Dazzlers destroyed Mark Wilson from day one of the season, but Mark Wilson keeps getting the better of him.
That is undeniably true, I would say. Anyway, let's leave that for now, because that's you up to speed with all the team news, all the information you need ahead of our 3 o'clock featured matches. All that's left for us to do is kick them off next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Saturday afternoon, games kicking off at 3 o'clock. The sound of Hugh Keevins in your ears, you cannot beat it. What does your ACCA look like this afternoon?
It looks like this: Aberdeen to win at home against Dundee, Hearts to win at home against Falkirk, Dundee United Kilmarnock a draw, and the mighty Jags home win over Airdrie.
I'm going home win for I'm going to draw, for Aberdeen Dundee. I'm going a home win for Hearts against Falkirk, a draw at Tannadice, Dundee United and Kilmarnock, and a home win for Thistle.
Well, I had the exact same, so I'll go for Airdrie.
So remind us of what that means.
Well, Aberdeen Dundee draw, Hearts to win, Dundee United Kilmarnock draw. I was going to go Partick, but I'm no staying with him.
Okay,
I'll go
you're going away.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
And we are indeed underway. I was just listening to you talking about home wins, away wins. Did you see the quirk of the results in the Europa League the other night? Did you notice that? Obviously Celtic were victim of this. There was 8 ties, only 1 home win, 6 away wins and 1 draw. Just thought it was quite strange. Wow. If you're a wee fan of a flutter and you've gone away wins, you would have been quids in. Please gamble responsibly, and all that. We're underway in our 3 o'clock games. There's a big 150 banner for Partick Thistle. Hugh Keevins, you've been banging that drum for the last couple of days. You'll be happy to see it recognised.
Not only that, but the city will recognise Partick Thistle because there is a civic reception. Mark Wilson and Alec Ray will lead the Partick Thistle squad into the city chambers for a civic reception, I think, on Wednesday. So are you going along, Daddy?
He's a big deal, this guy now.
Yeah, just to be put in the record, I ain't get invited to that either.
Oh,
so I've never get invited back to any club I ever was a part of.
It's funny that.
Except the one that the caller told me I was on the other night there.
You don't pay your rates here like the rest of us. You pay yours in North Lanarkshire.
Exactly, I'm a bit disappointed.
You can buy your own dinner.
You know, I've played a big part in their history, but never get invited back.
I don't like to do updates from League 2 too often. We don't usually get time for them, but I can tell you there's been a brilliant update from East Kilbride against Dumbarton.
Oh, okay.
Now, you share a Friday night in here with Scott Allen.
Yeah.
He is on the coaching staff at East Kilbride, and the Dumbarton fans have been chanting at him, "You're just a Hugh Keevins." I think that's good.
Is that right?
I love that.
You know what word I mean, don't you?
Yeah,
just in there in
yeah.
the middle. I can't say it on a family show, but there you go. Your
Imagine
power
having-
has stretched everywhere.
That's great, that.
Imagine having 20 people shouting at you.
What's even worse is it's obviously troubled him so much that he's managed to message me a minute before kick-off. He's also ran in the dressing room and got his phone. But anyway, that's one of the games, a big one in League 2 today. First Scottish goal is for Montrose at home to Queen of the South. Andrew Steeves with the goal there. A big chance for Aberdeen early on. There was a mistake by the Dundee goalkeeper, and Kevin Nisbet heading wide. The goal's gaping, so I don't know what's worse, Kevin Nisbet's miss or John McCracken's mistake. He made one last week, didn't he?
Yeah, again, it was he dwelled on the ball, didn't he? He got tackled, and it let Livingston back into the game. So yeah, he'll be feeling the pressure today, especially after that start.
Goal in the Championship, Queen's Park nil, Morton 1. Matthew Shields' own goal after just 3 minutes, so not a good start for our pal Jim Duffy, and all associated with Queen's Park.
Jim Duffy's going to have to point Matthew Shields in the right direction, because he got an own goal at Ibrox and now he's got another own goal today. He's probably looking the right way.
Dunfermline's bad run of form continuing. They're a goal down already at both Ryan Dow after just 2 minutes there, so the goals are absolutely pouring in down the divisions in Scotland.
Both are flying though, aren't they? Again, if they win today, that takes them on to 40 points. Only 4 points, obviously depends what happens at Partick today, but only 4 points behind, so it shows you they're very, very close.
Who's Ross County got today? Do we know?
They are. I saw this earlier as well. I was looking at it.
Away.
Yes, Ayr away.
Oh, that's a big game. Especially sitting down there, 22 points in the bottom of the table. They've got to start picking up.
Very bright start by Falkirk. Brad Spencer's had a low shot that went wide. Carrie Wilson's now had a shot saved, so they are very much on the front foot at Tynecastle, and that would be something. There is no shame, as they say, in losing at Ibrox, and it's understandable. And in many ways, Hearts had to lose a head-to-head against the Old Firm at some point. But I don't think the home fans would entertain a home defeat against Falkirk, so they'll have to recover from that start.
Quite simple. If they lose at home, Rangers go top tomorrow after they beat Livingston. That's the deal.
Hearts need it. It's a difficult game. It's not an ideal game after the defeat against Rangers at Ibrox. We speak about it's a difficult place to go, Ibrox. They're at home today against a very, very good Falkirk team, so it is going to be a difficult game. But if they've got aspirations of winning this title, they need to win games like this.
Would you go if Hearts went off the top of the table? They've not got in them to come back. And
they don't get back on the top.
Yeah,
I've already
psychologically. You think that dents them?
I've already declared myself. Rangers will win the league with a bit to spare. Now, if Rangers
even be the
top,
champions elect, if Hearts.
Things change. Things change. As I said to Gordon on the programme last night, I had tipped Celtic to win the league at the start of the season, am I to know that they'll have 3 managers, 2 chairmen, and 1 bad transfer window after that?
You've tipped 3 different teams.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you did. Did you not tip Celtic at the beginning of the season?
I can't remember.
Yes. Then you tipped Hearts, champions elect. Yes. Yes,
he said
that's
that
true.
for a while.
And now you went for Rangers. So in my calculations, that's 3.
Other people over the course of a 38
you want to throw Motherwell in the mix?
No, there's no chance whatsoever. And your phrase is, I'll just sit on the fence. What use is that to anybody?
Well, I went for Celtic at the beginning of the season, and I've still not changed my mind. But if Rangers win tomorrow and go to I'll maybe change it.
See, the only thing about that and saying, I think we'll hear that a lot. See if they slip off, people will say, that'll be, they won't get back. But next week, I know, but I said this last night, it's not unthinkable that then Rangers and Celtic draw next week and Hearts win again, and then they would be top. So it's dead easy to say, well, as soon as they go off, they won't come back. They could come back next week if they even do drop off top.
They're not going to go away. They're not going to go. They're a good team. There's no getting away from that. They're a very good team. They'll win games between now and the end of the season. But games like today are ones, if they want to win the league, which they've got an absolute opportunity of doing it, they need to win games like this today.
Let's do the teaser, Hugh, while we can.
Okay.
The first half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I think this is awkward. Can you tell me the last interim or caretaker manager for each of the current top 6 teams in the Premiership? The last 6 interim or caretaker managers for each of the teams in the top 6 in the Premiership right now. So you've got Hearts, Rangers, Celtic, Motherwell, Hibs, Falkirk. Who were the last 6 interim or caretaker managers of those clubs?
Good question, that. I like it. At Clyde SSB, that is where you submit your answers. Ideally, we want one tweet with all the correct answers on it, and to win it, you have to do it quicker than everyone else. It is that simple. But of course, chuck some names in, we'll see what happens and see who gets there first. Get your thinking caps on, because it is not easy, that question. A couple maybe, but there are a few sneaky ones in there. There's one team in particular who's currently in the top 6 that's not had an interim manager in 4 years, so some sneaky ones there as well. But get guessing at Clyde SSB. Good response from Queen's Park. Nikolai Todorov has scored to make it Queen's Park 1, Morton 1. Forfar have taken the lead at home to Annan. Hearts now putting a bit more pressure, or certainly getting a bit of territory. Kizaridis cutting in, had his shot blocked. He's got I like the cut of his jib, as they say the other day, Hugh. He was in front of the press, and talk about confident. Oh my goodness.
Is he a very confident guy?
Someone said to him, did you expect to be top at this stage when you signed for Hearts? And he said, yes.
I like that.
Someone said, seriously, but they were bottom 6 last season. And he said, and what?
I thought you were going to say, but I wasn't.
I think that was his next line.
Yeah, brilliant for him.
Interesting, Cammy, for your former team, Kelly. We mentioned the absence of Tyrese John-Jules and how damaging it would be. Finlay Curtis is sort of playing as a striker today, which means he's gone from right back, right wing and striker in his 3 starts for the club. It's quite something.
Yeah, no, I actually looked at the line-up today, and I thought he probably would be further up the pitch, and whether he was playing in behind Hugel up top. But certainly, listen, he's very flexible in where he can play. I think he's been a brilliant signing for Kilmarnock and will be a brilliant signing. He's got that energy, he's got real quality, he wants to go forward and score goals. So yeah, when Tispola came back into the team, I mean, he's more of a sitting midfielder. That's the type of player he is. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see Finlay Curtis further up the pitch.
Big one for Kilmarnock. You know, the loss of Tyrese John-Jules. We are always told there's no such thing as a one-man team. You could have fooled me last week because he was terrorising Celtic. So he's a big miss, but Finlay Curtis could lend a hand.
Hugel was good alongside him. Yeah. Whether that's clearly more effective as a duo or whether he can handle the burden on his own, but he was good. Certainly started, maybe faded a bit, which is understandable. Yeah,
he's not played a lot of football again, so and even to that level, do you know, it's a different level from where he's been playing in lower league football down south to then facing a Celtic team, the energy that's around about that game. So I thought he did very, very well.
Big Hearts chance. Braga with a brilliant piece of Skelly, passes it to Spittle, the shot gets deflected over, and the ref gives a goal kick wrongly, so the Hearts fans not happy there. Sorry, Cammy.
No. I thought he did well, Hugel. He's a presence as well. He's got a bit about him. He looked as if he was game for getting in amongst the defenders. So it'll be interesting to see how Kilmarnock do today, because I certainly think Neil McCannell fancies his team to go up there and take points.
That could be a double celebration for that tonight. They're leading Spartans top of the table.
Stranraer 1, Spartans 0.
And then you've got
Ryder top, I'll have you know. But Spartans have got games in hand.
Oh, are they? I thought Spartans were still top, sorry. And then obviously the curling.
Oh, that's right, the curling final tonight, isn't it?
Got guaranteed
I'm looking
a
forward
medal.
to that.
Yes. What time's it on, Gordon? You told me
just after 6.
Oh, I thought.
Are you into that, Daz?
I love the curling, yeah.
I've been getting quite into it this week.
Have you?
Yeah.
Even Mrs. Duncan is really not a sporting fan of any description's been.
Right, okay.
It's quite tactical.
Have you tried it?
No. I think it would be very difficult.
No.
Could we arrange that?
Yeah.
I think the 4 of us could go.
That'd be great. I'd love to try it.
Skip.
There's an ice rink down at Lockerbie, which is close to where I live. And
it might be close to where you live. Can you get us one closer to where we live?
Listen, there's been a number of medalists that have worked out of Lockerbie. Yes,
I would rather wash the Dazzler's car than have anything to do with the Winter Olympics.
Well, we'll do the curling, you wash a car.
I don't know why. I just didn't think it was going to be car, but I'm glad it was. No, so East Kilbride are top of League 2, but Spartans do have the couple of games in hand. Did you not hear about them? Scott Allen was telling up in Elgin midweek, 2-1 up at half time, and the referee came into the dressing room and said that might call this off. No, pitch is a bit icy.
A bit icy.
East Kilbride are saying no you won't.
No, exactly.
They scored 4 in the second half.
They've done well.
It was a good result for them. Yeah, I'm just looking at the table there. You're right, Gordon, sitting proudly at the top.
What is that at Queen of the South Stadium? Is that not an ice rink?
Yeah, so there's an ice rink just behind it. Yep, there is.
Is that not a supermarket?
No, like in
there
the
used
stadium.
To be a supermarket beside it as well.
Like there's a wee cafe and stuff at Queen of the
No, sorry.
Am I getting mixed up?
No, you're getting mixed up. The ice rink's the other side of the stadium, and where you're thinking the wee cafe is, that's a Queen of South.
Five-a-side, that's what it is.
I just want a pair of these shoes.
I genuinely, this is what's alarming. I do genuinely plot football stadiums in relation to cafes.
All right,
because
okay.
I know that if I'm working there, I need to know somewhere that I can get fed. Anyway, we've got one of these, luckily.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 1, Dundee 0. It's been coming. They have dominated the opening stages, and a goal to cap it off 14 minutes in. Olasanya with a tap in. It was a poor parry from the goalkeeper. Nisbet with the initial shot, and there was Toyosi Olasanya from close range.
Well, that's a bad one for Dundee, because they, like St Mirren, are slipping down that table, and Kilmarnock are out of the race either for the relegation playoff spot. So Aberdeen, good result midweek, and looking to build upon that. I worry about Aberdeen though.
Why?
It's 7 weeks now since Jimmy Tillene was got rid of.
Varchek for offside.
And the man that they're after, clearly not overwhelmed by the idea of becoming the Aberdeen manager.
Or goal stands.
So they're an odd club. They've got no character about them anymore, no image of the old Aberdeen. So
they're the current holders of the Scottish Cup.
It's been a strange season for them. Has it been a really difficult one? And again, they've had that joy of winning the Scottish Cup, and then it's all fell flat, and it seems to be as if it will be flat between now and the end of the season. They've still got the Scottish Cup to play for, of course they have, but again, looking at the league situation, it's been really poor this season.
Has Dave got the wind in his eyes?
I don't know who the final touch was. It was either Kevin Nisbet or Toyosi Olasanya. If it was a Toyosi Olasanya tap in, it's good to have him closer to goal, because we were told he can score for the halfway line the other night.
Yeah, the new Kenny McLean.
Nice that there's a bit of certainty about that. Either way, Aberdeen are one goal to the good.
There was not a trace of bitterness in your voice there. Not a trace.
Never. But they're up and running, and it is our first goal of our featured matches, the first goal in the Premiership this afternoon, and it does come up Pittodrie for the hosts. We did say that in that they probably need to win to have keep their faint hopes of top six alive. But it could be one of those days. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that Aberdeen win. If Hearts go and beat Falkirk, maybe there is a charge on there for the top six, but it still looks a long way.
Well, Dundee United will look at it as well, because they're sitting with games in hand. I just don't. I said that I fancied Hearts today, but over a piece, I think Falkirk deserve to be in the top six, and I think they'll end up in the top six.
It'd be a poor reflection if Aberdeen are 11 points behind Falkirk right now. Be a poor reflection on everyone if they somehow went above Falkirk at some stage.
Yeah, give Dave a bit of credit. I think Olasanya does certainly get the final touch. It just depends whether it's over the line. That's what we're hearing. So the shot looks up. The only thing you would have to say, more worryingly for Dundee, and we're talking about Kasper Schmeichel, that's another one by John McCracken, Cammy.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a real poor mistake from McCracken again. We spoke about before that he had that nervous moment in this game. He had the mistake last week against Livingston. It sounds like he's made another poor mistake, and that's not what you need. When you're down there, you're fighting relegation, you need your goalkeeper to have, again, just solid performances. You're not looking to be outstanding, just not make mistakes to gift the opposition goals, and it looks like he's done that.
Hearts free kick 20 yards out, sort of central, maybe Blair Spittle territory, suggesting David Freely's obviously not getting as much Hearts first team action as he would like. What a chance it would be to go and mark a surprise appearance in the team, because as you remember, had to pull out of the warm-up just before kick-off, the club's record signing. He came in, very short-lived appearances, then got the long injury, and Derek McInnes was warning people that he had to get up to speed and didn't want to rush him and all that sort of stuff, and he's injured again by the looks of it. Spittle takes and the free kick is blocked.
Sounds like a difficult afternoon for Hearts so far, as if they're still trying to get Ibrox out their system 20 minutes in.
I don't think there'll be a lot of goals at Tynecastle, if I'm totally honest with you, Hugh. I think Hearts will edge it, home advantage, but I don't think there'll be a lot of goals there for David Friel. Is it David that's there? Yeah.
Right, keep your guesses coming to that first half teaser. Hugh will remind you of the question.
Can you name the last interim or caretaker manager for each of the current top 6 teams in the Premiership? The last interim manager, the last caretaker manager for each of the top 6 teams in the Premiership.
I'll do some wrong answers very soon, but there you go. You've got your question up and running. Peterhead 2, East Fife 1. That's a good game there already. 3 goals inside the opening 16 minutes, with Jason Brown putting Peterhead in front. Old rivals from League 2 in previous seasons, now meeting in League 1. And our featured championship match, nothing doing between Partick Thistle and Airdrie. Airdrie had a bit of early pressure, but nothing really to tell you about yet.
Do you think if the Dumbarton fans repeat their song about Scott Allen, he'll text you from the touchline?
I do wonder if he's gone and managed to put the phone back. Should I text him and tell him
phone him.
Tell him the Spartan score?
Yeah, phone him.
So
He'll know that. He'll have a wireless somewhere.
A wireless. That's as bad as Hugh Keevins. What were you tell the boys what you said last night about how you used to get to Partick Thistle games?
I lived in Partick, brought up in Partick, and I went on a trolley bus
What's a trolley bus?
Yeah, the one with wires overhead.
Oh, like a tram.
No,
yeah, but it was
bus.
called a trolley, wasn't it? A trolley bus.
Trolley bus. When I thought about it when I went home, if I went to Firhill, it was the trolley bus.
Yeah.
If I went to Celtic, it was a tram car.
Yeah.
If you went to Ibrox, it was the Govan Ferry. So I went by land and sea.
Wow.
You went to Ibrox
on
a ferry.
Ferry. Amazing.
The Govan Ferry.
The Govan Ferry.
Yeah, much was that?
Nothing.
So they just let you on for nothing.
Do you know what you need to do? Get yourself to the Transport Museum. My 5-year-old loves it. I'm familiar with all these modes of transport.
Is that the one we pass when we're going home in the bypass?
Yes. No, the Clydeside Expressway.
Yeah.
Get yourself in there.
If you
Guess
went
what? It's free.
Is it?
So
I might get in twice.
You need to put a wee you should put a wee donation in at the door though.
And if you went
I'm
to
only card only.
If you went to Lanark or Queen's Park, it was a number 44 bus. So you had the bus, the trolley bus, the Govan Ferry, or the tram.
And you got on everything for nothing?
No. You had to pay on the tram and what have you, but the Govan Ferry was free.
There we go, that was your history of Glasgow transport by Hugh Keevins. But Kilmarnock are coming into the game a bit more now at Dundee United. A few good low crosses into the box, just not quite finding their intended recipient. Robbie Dees now is getting treatment for a head knock in the 6-yard box. Dave Galloway's telling us some people are giving the goal to Kevin Nisbet, but it's very hard to tell if the ball had crossed the line before Olasanya touched it. It doesn't really matter that much. It depends what their goal bonus is, though, if they want to argue out amongst themselves. But basically, Kevin Nisbet had a shot. There wasn't loads on it, and John McCracken, he kind of tipped it up into the air, but it ended up dropping either into the goal or onto the line, and Olasanya was there to try and do the rest.
I think we need VAR in the press box so that we can find out, was Dave about to eat the KFC?
Oh, he's a wimpy, Matt, but then they don't have wimpy in Aberdeen, do they?
Are there any Wimpies left now?
We've done this before. There's three or four at least. Yeah,
in Scotland.
Yeah, that's why when Dave used to love going to Ross County, there's one in Dingwall.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Kilmarnock.
Oh, is it?
Something like that. There was another couple. We looked it up last season.
Dave gets the trolley bus home on a Saturday night for the granite.
That's Robbie Dees walking back to the side of the pitch. He's back on, so that head knock not deemed to be too serious there. As he comes back on, Inverness 1, Stenhousemuir 1, Alfie Bavage with the goal. We just need some more. We need more in our top flight. Nothing between Dundee United and Kilmarnock or Hearts against Falkirk. Hearts, probably their best performance actually, that was at home to Falkirk early in the season. That was a real sort of flexing of their muscles. It was maybe a day when you wondered if Falkirk were right up to the rigours of some of the Premiership, but I mean, they clearly have shown that they are, and Hearts have not been as convincing as that in a while.
Yeah, no, I remember the game, and I think John McGlynn spoke about it and said they were just off at that game. They weren't at the races. They didn't handle it particularly well. So they've learnt a lot from that previous meeting, and again, the way that you can set his team up. I think Hearts are in a little bit of a different place. They're still top of the table, of course they are, but the pressure's mounting, and that's what I said to them. Falkirk will go there with no fear, because at the end of the day, I don't think Falkirk have got a lot to lose today. They can go and gain a lot, but I think the pressure's completely on Hearts.
Yeah, big time. You talk about overachieving, as Derek McInnes has done this week. Well, Falkirk overachieve as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
we said that last night, didn't we? If there's an overachieving club in the Premiership, it's only got 3 members: Hearts, Motherwell and Falkirk.
Yeah.
They're the only ones you would say are punching above their weight, as the phrase goes.
When Tony Bloom put in his 10 million, does that still make them overachievers?
Oh, absolutely. You forget that it shouldn't be forgotten. There is not a chance we can allow Rangers or Celtic to be seen as some sort of underdogs. No matter what they've been through this season, their budgets are in a different stratosphere to Hearts.
Yeah, but I'm not concerning myself with Celtic or Rangers. If Tony Bloom puts in 10 million, then that takes Hearts into a different stratosphere from the others.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So if they were third or fourth, they wouldn't be overachieving. But if they're above Glasgow's big two,
who is the biggest overachieving club at this moment in time, would you say?
Falkirk,
yeah.
Well, hold on. It might be, yeah. Motherwell love
Falkirk are the promoted club.
I would go Motherwell. Yeah. At this moment, I think
you make a good case for them all.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
I don't know what the budget difference between Motherwell and Falkirk would be.
It'll be huge between Motherwell and Hearts, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
go on.
Goal flashes
with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Trolley buses have done it. It's Partick Thistle 1, Airdrie 0, and it's Ben Stanway. It's a cracking free kick. That's the one that says he practices shooting with Alex Ray after training.
Yeah, he
likes to
must
give
be.
him the credit for it. It is Partick Thistle 1, Airdrie 0, and as it stands, they would close the gap on St Johnstone at the top.
Now, Alison was talking earlier about the St Johnstone having to visit Firhill late in March. And I think it's the weekend before I go to Ayr United to see Brunei, and Ayr play Partick Thistle.
What day is that you're going?
4th of April.
I take it's a Saturday or a Friday?
Saturday.
So you won't be in here?
That's correct.
Oh,
day off for it.
Oh, that's
nice.
Something you look forward to. That's like Christmas.
The way
How
to
many
think about
sweets
it,
is that?
here's the way to think about it. If he's got £1,000 to drop in the Clyde
he's
auction
gone.
for it, he can afford to take the day off his work as well.
To be fair, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially in Reddy's.
He's absolutely
He deserves it as well, doesn't
But I'll tell you what I have noticed, right? That moustache isn't coming in, is it?
Oh,
that's shaved.
No, Mrs.
That's
Keevins.
shaved.
Change your mind.
Mrs. Keevins said I looked like an elderly vagrant and I had to shave it off.
I noticed it this morning when I walked in. I thought, no,
that's
he's not going with it. Well, I'll tell you what, you could go in the box. Don't worry about it.
Clyde 1, Edinburgh City 0. James Hilton with the goal. And for a long time everybody thought Edinburgh City would defy their points deduction and climb the league, but it's not quite happening for them at the rate they would have liked. And Clyde with the advantage there. Nothing else to tell you about quite yet. Let's do some wrong answers on the teaser, Hugh. We've not done that yet, so on you go.
Tell me the last interim or caretaker manager for each of the current top 6 teams in the Premiership. The top 6 being Hearts, Rangers, Celtic, Motherwell, Hibs, Falkirk. Who were the last 6 interim or caretaker managers?
Difficult ones in there.
Yeah, very much so. Wee Scooch would like to throw in Barry Ferguson.
He's not there.
Okay, that's a kind of key wrong one you might want to scrub out. Jamie Dock would like to go for Stuart Kettlewell at Motherwell, I assume.
No.
What about Gary Holt?
Great guy, but he's not there.
Okay, right. Keep your guesses coming at Clyde SSB, and we'll see how we get on with that one as the afternoon progresses. Hearts have not had a shot on target yet. Would they be looking for a bit more, to state the obvious?
Yeah, of course it would be. Derek would be looking for a big response after obviously the defeat at Ibrox. You're playing Falkirk, and it'd be nice to get a bit of confidence, go and get a goal in front, because if you let Falkirk settle in, the one thing they'll do is they're brave on the ball. They'll pass the ball about all day long, and they've got a threat as well, especially a young lad Stuart up front. So just got to be careful for Hearts here. It could be, as I said, I don't think there'll be a lot of goals, but I just think Hearts will grow into it and edge it.
As David Friel said pre-match, Tynecastle is a great place when you're on top, but if it's not going so well, if it's goalless at half time, we'll get David to assess the crowd reaction then.
Yeah, I think the crowd will be okay at half time, but certainly if they don't get the 3 points, they would be disappointing, because they're getting into the business end of the season where they've been brilliant so far. And these games, we mentioned it before, you need to win games at home against Falkirk, although it's a hugely difficult game. But you're right, Daz, if you let Falkirk settle into the game, I think they become more comfortable. They'll have huge amounts of possession, because that's the style of play they play with. So it's a very interesting game.
If you're a Hearts fan, Cammy, and you've been dreaming from August to February about being title winners, and all of a sudden you think it's slipping away.
Yeah. No, and the frustration will be there. We've seen it before. The frustration will be there, and this is the pressure we speak about when we're talking about the pressure that builds towards these final games that are so important.
Might patience be required though as well? I mean, it's 3:30.
In games like this, absolutely. In games like this, before the game kicked off, this was always going to be a tough game for Hearts to face, especially off the back of a little blip last week. Conceded goals they'll be disappointed with. Probably didn't play their best, but they've got to react, and this is where we speak about the pressure. It ramps up. It ramps up. Derek McInnes's message has been a little bit different this week from what it has been in previous weeks in press conferences. So yes, it's a very interesting afternoon.
Just a bit blunt in attack, according to David Friel. Falkirk have been good though. One of my favourite players in the league, I would say, this season, Philip Lisa. However, except when he's not, he's playing at centre back. I was surprised to hear that's actually his preferred position.
Is it?
He's been cruising around at right back all season on loan from Swansea. Apparently he can play both, but more of a centre back, and playing there today, he's excellent, isn't he?
Oh, brilliant player, and I think he's done himself wonders coming up here. I think the spell at Falkirk will excel his career. He's a fantastic footballer. A lot of people have taken notice of him as well. So,
well, I was going to on that. I don't know how far it's gone. I'm not trying to pretend the transfer exclusive, but I am led to believe he was noticed, shall we say, when Celtic went there and won narrowly. Remember Negrin's goal that midweek? He was certainly commented upon.
Why wouldn't you?
The Celtic
and again,
staff.
You've got to take notice of a player that's been so consistent, so good within the league that Celtic and Rangers are both looking at. And yeah, he's a player that they've both got to be potentially interested in going forward.
Anyway, a few grumbles now in the Hearts midfield. Are a bit slow to get a loose ball, but it's still goalless. It's
starting to rumble and grumble.
Clyde 2, Edinburgh City 0 now. James Hilton with the goal there.
That's a big one for Dumbarton, because Edinburgh City are bottom of League 2 and Dumbarton second bottom. I'd hate to see Dumbarton fall out of the SPFL. I don't care if Edinburgh City fall out.
Why you got
just West Coast bias, as they call it, quite literally playing out in front of your ears.
Do you remember Bogside?
Boghead.
Okay.
I think you're fine.
Is Bogside not a golf course?
No, it's in Northern Ireland.
But anyway, is it? Okay,
Irvin.
Irvin Bogside.
Sorry, Hugh.
We'll just talk to
that is genuinely that is you over the back. How have you managed to just jinx Dumbarton there all of a sudden? East Kilbride 1, Dumbarton 0. Bobby McClucky. Scott Allen turns round to the Dumbarton fans, cups his ears, and says, Hugh Keevins.
Did you play there?
Where?
Boghead.
What?
Have you ever played at Boghead?
No, I've not.
You've not played at some good grounds, have you? When did you come on the scene? What year?
I think I went professional. Well, I mean, we're talking I was 16.
Yeah, so was I.
No, I'm just saying.
Cammy, how old are you now?
2001, I think. What am I now? I'm 40 this year.
Right, you're a wee bit older than me. So Boghead closed in 2000, so you would have been no.
Yeah, so no.
No chance.
There you go.
No chance. There we go.
Boghead. It was some ground to play.
Oh, shocker.
I quite like playing there, Hugh, I've got to say. I didn't mind that at all. Played at some dumps in my career, I've got to say.
Is that a character building type venue?
Yeah. Yeah. Places like the old Douglas Park as well. Hamilton Accies and it was the dressing rooms. Used to get in two at a time. No, it's art to get changed. Two at a time.
But before they started building fancy stands, Brockville was quite the place as well.
I love Brockville.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love playing at Brockville. Atmosphere, everything was great there. Muirton Park.
Yeah,
Fraser will be sitting in his glory. He could throw it from one end to the park to the other.
You're making everybody feel old. Thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I've told you before, the first game I ever covered on Clyde One Super Scoreboard was at St Mirren's old stadium. So I'm just about old enough to have been to old stadiums. So that was the first game I ever did on this show.
I think I made
St Mirren at Dundee United.
Wouldn't it be the Premier League then, would it? No, it wouldn't be the Premier League, obviously. But
are you about to try and recall a game you played in? Because that never goes well.
Right, the only reason
What stadium did you make your debut at?
I don't really know, but
come on.
I know that I played at Love Street, and the reason I know this is because we get beat 2-1. Frank McGarvey and Abercrombie, remember
Abercrombie?
Fitzpatrick and all them were playing great.
Tony,
good team. We get beat 2-1, and I was flying out with Scotland under 18s to Monaco from the airport that night. I had my suit and everything on, and Greggy told me that I wasn't allowed to go, and I was in the first team next week. We played Aberdeen, I was on the bench. The following week I was in the stand. The following week I was in the reserves, and the following week, you know the story, I was up in the stand.
I looked up your Wikipedia there to see if it had any details of your debut, and there's a quite worrying, chilling line which says he currently presents on Clyde's One Super Scoreboard. Excuse me, indeed he does not.
Yes, I do.
My goodness,
you've just not heard the news yet.
He presents a threat on SuperScoreBoard.
I literally couldn't tell you my debut. I have no idea.
What stadium did you make your debut at?
Fir Park. What are we talking? Senior debut?
Yes.
No, under 14.
I had loan spells at Montrose and Queen of the South, yeah.
Which one first?
Montrose was first when I was 17, I think.
Down the leagues?
Yeah. Fir Park with Top Flight was my debut.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wonder if I was there. What year are we talking?
Who was your first ever club?
Kilmarnock. So I signed with Kilmarnock, yeah. They went on loan at Montrose and then Queen of the South. But yeah, I had some bad injuries when I was younger. I've done my cruciate twice before I was 20, so...
Yeah. I only played at Fir Park once.
See, the website I'm checking doesn't even have your Arbroath... your Montrose career.
Does it not?
No, it just says Queen of the South 2, Partick 0, 2008, August. So you reckon you'd played before that?
Oh yeah, I was on loan at Montrose when I was 17, so yeah.
Where was your last game? Stadium?
Oh, I don't know actually.
Oh, found your Kilmarnock one against Motherwell.
Yeah.
I reckon
it was the end of the season.
I reckon I'm guaranteed to have been there.
Jim Jeffries was manager.
You'll be ball boy, will you know?
Jim Jeffries
not by
was
2009.
All right, okay.
I'd have been 20.
Well,
he was mascot.
You'd be able to sprint, get the ball quickly then.
Up against Killian Sheridan, who is on the show from time to time.
I played with Killian as well.
But he was also at Motherwell in that Motherwell
I didn't
team.
even know that, no.
You won 2-1 at Fir Park. A 90th minute Mehdi Towel winner.
Oh, was it?
There's her name.
He was a good player, Mehdi. Yep.
There we go. Anyway, This Is Your Life, Cammy Bell edition. We've got a penalty Dundee.
Ooh.
Tony Ugan down in the box. Liam Morrison with the challenge. Going to be checked by VAR, but of course you then have to find evidence to say that was an error and had to be overturned. So we'll wait and find out. Craig Sibbald's down injured as well. Show you different eras, talking about debuts. Fraser Wishart's debut was at Celtic Park for Motherwell in 1984, but he was still a Pollock player.
Oh, that's right, he came for Pollock.
When you get that these days.
Pollock were a right good team, to be fair.
East Kilbride 2, Dumbarton 0, João Balde with the goal as we wait to find out if this Dundee penalty is going to stand, and then if it is scored, because that might take the wind out of Aberdeen's sails ever so slightly, having started the game well.
Yeah, it's a big moment again for Dundee to get back into the game. It'll be interesting to see if it's given.
Still checking it.
What's Dave saying?
He's just saying still checking.
Still checking.
Will this be in the next edition of the VAR review that came out last night? I always need to turn my Twitter notifications off when that gets...
do you get a few, do you?
Nah, I'm only kidding. It's always gentle.
I like Willie, I've got to say. Good man.
So Stephen McLean given the penalty, yeah?
I think the penalty was given on field.
Right, okay.
And then just double checking.
If it's...
Do you know what one I thought was quite interesting actually from the VAR review this time? Because obviously like Austin Trusty, all that, and people can argue, and that's fine, people have got their own opinions. But do you remember the Kevin Nisbet one where they couldn't draw the lines?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they still asked the ref to go to the monitor, and everybody, me included, thought, why are you not sticking with the on-field decision? Everybody kept saying that. Why not stick with on-field? Why would the ref come over if you can't draw the lines? And what I didn't realise, Willie Collum explained it.
Gives you more time.
Well, no, but even more than that, this apparently happened a couple of years ago, something similar, and the clubs actually asked. The clubs all said, we want the ref brought to the monitor in that circumstance.
If you can't
we
draw
want
the
them to check. And do you know the game that happened in a couple of years ago? Livy Aberdeen. Exact same two clubs. So it was quite interesting.
Yeah,
so I thought, because again, there was a real groundswell of what's happening here, why not stick with the on-field, but the clubs actually wanted that to happen.
And I totally agree with that. I think if there's an opportunity, if there's a fault that they can't draw the lines or something happens, give the referee another opportunity to look. We want the right outcome. That's what we're looking for, is the right outcome.
I think what was difficult about that one is it obviously was tight.
Yeah.
The kind of hypothetical that Willie Collum gave was, imagine it wasn't tight. Imagine a goal's given, you can't draw the lines, but you can see the screen and you can see that player is 6 yards offside. Are you going to just stick with on field, or are you going to try and use sort of what you've got? Like the ref on this occasion, by the way, is going to the monitor, so that would suggest that the penalty will not stand for Dundee, but it's never a guarantee. Falkirk have got a chance. Keelan Adams breaks, he finds Ben Broggio and he hits it over the bar. Should hit the target there. It is getting a bit frustrated inside Tynecastle at the moment. The ref's still at that screen, so we'll wait and see if there's a penalty or not. You would imagine not if you were to hedge your bets, but we'll wait and see. East Kilbride are probably home and hosed already in League 2, 3-0 up at home to Dumbarton. John Robertson with the goal. Dave Galloway reckons the initial contact looks outside the box, but if it was only to do with that, he wouldn't have to go to the monitor, because that would just be factually overturned for where it is. So there must be a debate as to whether it's a foul or not. So it's going to be, and we've done quite a bit of on the line, inside, outside, unless the ref is actually just getting asked to make that judgment call. But I've always got it's a red card for Liam Morrison.
Wow.
It's another one of the Dogzos. My goodness, we can't escape these at the moment.
So it's a Stonewall penalty kick then, Biz?
So it must be outside the box if it's a red card. You see?
Oh, because it wouldn't be double.
So it'll be a free kick.
Yeah.
So they've made the factual decision that it's outside, but then they've brought him over to see if it's a red card. I'm presuming that would
There's now a penalty for Dundee United for a foul by Lyons on Ferry, Brad Lyons on Will Ferry, and VAR is going to check that one. I'm sure Neil McCann will take that well either way.
Philosophically,
won't have any complaints about it, I'm certain.
So it's a free kick at Aberdeen.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I mean, I've not heard the next update, but it kind of has to be. You wouldn't be sent off if it was inside the box unless there was. But then we have seen it, if there's an attempt to play the ball. Dominic Thompson still got sent off at.
Yeah.
Yes, he did, yeah.
At Ibrox. There was no attempt to play the ball. So it is a penalty. So there we go. So it must just be judged that there was no
attempt to play the ball.
No genuine attempt to play the ball. So Simon Murray's going to take a penalty. Aberdeen are down to 10 men.
Wow.
And it took a long road to get there, but here comes Simon Murray.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal level game at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Dundee 1, and Aberdeen down to 10 men as well. That is a sore one, a real sore one, because there's not many of those occasions where it ends in a penalty and a red card. The only thing is, though, it's also flashed up on the old video printer that it was a second booking for Liam Morrison and not a straight red, so that might be worth considering. But either the facts of the matter, Aberdeen 1, Dundee 1, Simon Murray penalty.
I would have loved to have seen Simon Murray's goal celebration.
He's just run by your window.
3 weeks short of his 34th birthday, Simon Murray, and the world's angriest man when he scores for some reason. But as a real big
Dundee United penalty, and it is saved by Keller Roos to his right. It was missed by Amar Fata. A poor penalty. What do they always say when it's a poor penalty? A good height for the keeper.
Yeah,
that's what they say, and that is indeed what's happened here. So a let off for Kilmarnock. Dundee United passing up the opportunity from the spot, but we have had some drama at Aberdeen. Aberdeen 1, Dundee 1, Simon Murray penalty, Liam Morrison sent off.
Dundee United are a mediocre team. They only just get past Spartans in the Cup midweek, and they will never make the top 6, I don't think.
Yeah, it looks like mostly everyone, I think, reckons Falkirk are favourites when you look at the arithmetic. Let's do some more on the teaser, Hugh. In fact, this might need to be it. This might need to be us rounding off. Let's do
the big reveal.
Do the big reveal of the teaser, please.
Can you name the last 6 interim or caretaker managers for each of the current top 6 teams in the Scottish Premiership? Well, you've got Liam Fox at Hearts, Stephen Smith at Rangers. What did he get? 1 game, 2 games?
One.
Martin O'Neill, who's still there at Celtic, Stephen Frail at Motherwell, David Gray at Hibs, and our own Kenny Miller at Falkirk back in the day.
Was indeed before John McGlynn took over. So there we are. Well done if you got it right, and a special well done, if you like, to the following 3 who are on the podium. In third place, Weeskutch takes the bronze medal. See, we're going Winter Olympics speak here. Second place, Peter Ramsey, and the gold medalist is Michael Donati. Well done to you all, and we'll do a Who Am I a bit later on in the show. We're strapping in for any late drama in the first half. That was a nice wee dramatic period, that, with Aberdeen going down to 10 and Dundee scoring the penalty, and pretty much at the same time Dundee's city rivals seeing a penalty saved by Keller Roos.
The 4th red card at Pittodrie in 4 days.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about them. Cammy, the goalkeeping issue that Kilmarnock had, Keller Roos looks like a steadier pair of hands. He's gone and saved the penalty. Obviously Max Stryjek was out, Eddie Beach, Oluwayemi. It was something that needed addressed, so they'll be hoping Keller Roos can be that sort of secure presence from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, steady setter, pair of hands. Again, he didn't get off to the best of starts, because I think in his debut they had the mix up between him and it was either Robbie Dean or somebody.
So
the one that he dropped.
I knew there was a mistake in there somewhere.
But again, that was his first game, so you've got to cut him a little bit of slack. I think he's came in and done well. Again, that save today is a big save just before half time. You're away from home, you concede a penalty, so I think that's a big moment in that game. And Max Stryke's back on the bench as well, so Eddie Beach I think's just went out on loan this week, so it looks as if Kilmarnock have kind of sorted that problem area, because they've conceded far too many goals this season. There's no getting away from it. That's been one of their huge problems, is that 54 goals in 27 games is not good enough, and you're always got to find yourself at the bottom of the table.
I don't think I quite caught it last night, but then someone sent me a message. Was it a caller or was it you? Did someone say last night that Kasper Schmeichel's arms have gone?
A caller said that, yeah.
Do you know, let's talk about a player's legs having gone.
Yeah.
We're straying into football cliches territory if anyone listens to that podcast, but can your arms go as a goalie?
No, your arms can't go.
Absolutely not. I think that's a valid question. If a central midfielder's legs can go, you goalkeepers' arms can go.
Your arms don't go.
The dominant characteristic of any goalkeeper are his arms.
I can't believe this is too sincere for my liking. It's making me uncomfortable.
I'm with you, Hugh.
Yep.
I did tell you,
have gone.
You once appeared on that Football Cliches podcast. I was listening to it one day, and then you then appeared and nearly crashed the car. It's actually a miracle that you're not on it more often with some of the phrases you come out with. But it was a time that Liam Kelly, funnily enough, on the subject of goalkeepers, came into the team, and you
get minutes in his gloves.
You said he'd get some minutes under his gloves. Oh, hold on. This is big. This is very big.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hearts 1, Falkirk 0, right on the stroke of half time, and what a way to introduce yourself as a goal scorer in maroon. It's Islam Chesnikov, one of the new signings, right on the 45th minute, and he has opened the scoring. That could be a huge moment across this afternoon, and maybe even a huge moment come the end of the season. Tynecastle not so frustrated now. Half time at Firhill, Alison.
Yeah, half time here, and it's Partick Thistle 1, Airdrie 0. Thistle head into the break. A goal to the good with Ben Stanway's free kick. The difference between the sides. That goal came midway through the opening half after Tony Watt had been crudely tugged back at the edge of the box by Jamie Barjonas. Watt had wanted that his yellow card upgraded to a red for the infringement. However, Thistle exacted maximum revenge. Stanway stood over the ball and curled an exquisite right foot free kick into Harry Stone's top left hand corner. Austin Smith then had an effort saved a minute later as Thistle, with their tails up, went for a second. The Jags fans in here were furious when Charlie MacArthur got away with nothing more than a telling off after nearly taking the shirt off the back of Watt, who had turned him just on the halfway line. And that's been a recurring theme this afternoon, as Watt has been hugely influential for Thistle and Airdrie, stopping at nothing to try and just keep him in his tracks. Airdrie, they'd actually started the opening minutes of this game fairly well. Chris Mockery had dragged an effort wide and Lewis McGrattan curled a shot just over the bar, but the turning point came when Thistle striker Alex Samuel had a header come off the post. Tishanello let Sosa force a decent save from Stone too just as the game went on, while Ashcroft had a header go wide just before the break. But a 1-0 lead is always tenuous, as Airdrie reminded Thistle just in the closing stages of this half, as Dylan McDonald blasted an effort wide and Ewan Henderson had a free kick blocked just prior to that. So Jags in control here going into the break. However, there's only a goal in it.
Looking forward to the second half there. There's been another goal at Pittodrie, and Dundee have taken the lead. Aberdeen are down to 10 men. I'll let Dave Galloway tell you about it when he gets to the end of his 6 minutes added on at the end of the first half. Let's go to Tynecastle, though. It is the big game for obvious reasons, and it is half time already. David Friel.
Yeah, the big game, Gordon, and a big goal from Islam Chesnikov. Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. It was a frustrating 45 minutes for Hearts. The fans were agitated. I was just about to tell you there was going to need to be a big improvement in the second half, but then right at the death, seconds before the half-time whistle, Islam Chesnikov, his first goal for the club. It was Hearts' first shot on target all afternoon, and what a big goal it could prove to be. Hearts haven't been anywhere near their best, but Derek McInnes won't care about that. It was Alexandros Kizoridis who set it up, a great low finish into the corner. Debatable whether Hearts deserve it, but they won't care. been a tough afternoon for them. As I said, they suffered a pre-match blow, record signing as you pulled up in the warm-up. Blair Spittle came in and he was made busy in the first few minutes. Falkirk started so well. Brad Spencer drove forward, sent a low shot wide of target. Kyrell Wilson then raced through the middle, tested Alexander Swallow. Hearts straightened for the first time. Keezy cut in from the left, had a shot blocked. Spittle then had an even better chance when Claudio Braga showed brilliant skill, set him up 12 yards out. The shot was deflected over. But as we spoke about during the show, Falkirk have been so impressive on the ball. Barney Stewart had a chance, he was played in down the right channel, cut inside. His effort was weak and was easily saved by Swallow. But Falkirk kept coming. Ben Brosio then had a chance, he blazed that one over the bar. And you thought it would be goalless at half time, but then came that late drama in the first half. Keezy found Chesnikov, didn't mess about, found the bottom corner. The celebrations around Tynecastle, the place erupted. They went from agitation to elation. And you just wonder where they can go and build on that in the second half. Half time, Hearts 1, Falkirk 0.
Half time at Tannadice, Fraser Wishart.
Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0. It's been a poor 90 minutes. The bar has been hit by United. They missed a penalty. But other than that, neither goalkeeper has anything of any real consequence to do. United actually started well, good early pressure, 4th minute. Lucas Stevenson on the right hand side did really well. He drove the cross into the penalty box about 10 yards. Panucci Kamara diverted the ball goalwards with his left foot to hit the bar, and it was cleared, followed by a number of dangerous corners, really well defended by the big Kilmarnock defenders, but they had to defend well at full stretch at this point. They weathered the early pressure. Kilmarnock began to get hold of the ball, nice passing into good areas, but the final ball not creating any clear chances. But United fans were quietened, even the drummer perhaps concerned. Their team hadn't really been near Roost's goal. Kelly were curled, but all in all, very scrappy on a bare, compact pitch. The ball bouncing around, difficult control. Kelly skipper Brad Lyons then drove in a cross. It wasn't cleared properly, but Kilty tried to get a shot away, blocked by Savells. And then the big chance for United, 39th minute for Dundee United. The cross fell to Will Ferry at the back post. He chopped inside. Brad Lyons, who was defending, stuck out a leg, and John Beaton gave a penalty, and VAR agreed. Lyons didn't think so, but up stepped Amar Fata. Poor penalty kick, just summed up the game with his side foot to Kelleru's right. Good save by the goalkeeper, to be fair, but it was a good height and he managed to push the ball away and the ball was cleared. The game crying out for a goal here. Hopefully better quality in the second half. It's been poor stuff so far in the first 45 minutes. Half time at Tannadice, Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Just one half time whistle still to go at Pittodrie, and we will do that when we return.
Goals. The experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Still one outstanding half-time report to get, and it comes from Dave Galloway at Pittodrie.
Yes, at Pittodrie, Gordon. It's Aberdeen 1, Dundee 2 at the interval. A really bright start by Aberdeen. McCracken's poor attempt to clear seized upon by Keskinen, who set up Nisbet on the angle. He headed wide of a gaping goal, though. Keskinen whipped in a dangerous cross from the left, but Olasanya missed the ball completely. The host deservedly scored after 13 minutes. Frame linked very well on the left with Keskinen, who set up Nisbet. His snapshot was poorly parried up in the air by McCracken, and Olasanya looked to have got the final touch to get the ball over the line, but Nisbet was awarded the goal. Dundee came right back into things, though. They forced 3 quick corners and looked much more threatening. They equalised after 40 minutes, albeit in hugely controversial circumstances. A penalty was given for Morrison's challenge on Ugan. It looked to have started outside the box when I looked at seemingly endless VAR replays, but after a long delay the penalty was confirmed, but there was another twist in the tail. That came after Morrison got a straight red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity to the fury of the home support. Murray, though, made a fantastic job with his spot kick. Then in added time it got even worse for the home side. The visitors scored again. Congreve shot from a tight angle. Brathwaite couldn't deal with it, and his flap knocked the ball against Cotterill, and then it went in. It looked at first glance as if Congreve's shot had gone in, but Cotterill was adjudged to have got the final touch, and it was almost 3-1 to the D's in even more added time. In the 6th minute of added time, Cotterill let fly from outside the box, but Brathwaite saved very well to deal with that one. It's been quite a first half here at dull and gloomy Pittodrie, and the gloom is certainly deepening for this home support who booed their side roundly off the pitch. Or were they just furious at the referee? Anyway, at the interval, Aberdeen 1, Dundee 2.
Let's do a round-up of the half-time scores then. Dave Galloway's just told you about that one there. But elsewhere, Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0, and Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. St Mirren Motherwell is 7:30 tonight. In the Championship, Arbroath 1, Dunfermline 1, Ayr 0, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 1, Airdrieonians 0, and Queen's Park 1, Greenock Morton 1. In League 1, it's Alloa 0, Hamilton Accies 0, Cove Rangers 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, Stenhouse Muir 1, Montrose 2, Queen of the South 0, and Peterhead 2, East Fife 1. In League 2, Clyde 2, Edinburgh City 0, East Kilbride 3, Dumbarton 0, Elgin 0, Stirling Albion 0, Forfar 1, Annan Athletic 0, and Stranraer 1, Spartans 0. The second half's are next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
The second halves are underway in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Maybe not quite at Aberdeen because that was a bit delayed, but it's taken just seconds for Claudio Braga to drag one wide. It was a low shot, it's gone just past the post. Hearts clearly looking to start quickly after finishing strongly before the break, Hugh.
And it sounds like it will be Hearts' day. They've overcome their shaky start to the match. They've got the bit between their teeth now, and that will send them 5 points clear of Rangers, who are in second place, ahead of their visit to Marvin Bartley's Livy tomorrow.
You don't see a comeback, Hugh?
No,
I tend to agree. I think the timing of the goal for Hearts perfect just before half time. Gives them that confidence, and you would imagine that they could go on and maybe add to the lead and get 3 points.
Team's actually not out yet at Tannadice. Who's the more likely winner if you're going to get one in the second half, Fraser?
I've got a sneaky for Kilmarnock. They're shooting down the hill, as you know, at Tannadice, and United didn't really get going. Kilmarnock looked fairly comfortable. I think they're going to make one substitution. Marley Watkins is going to come on, and it's Brad Lyons that's going off the skipper as well. So Marley Watkins has been out for so long, such an important player, and he could be the man that could set them up for the goals. So give it Watkins, Kilty. Looks like Curtis will come wide, maybe going sort of 4-2-4, a bit more kind of attacking football. But he's got to be feeling Kelly didn't really create any chances, but they actually played quite well and they defended well as well. Whereas United, said beforehand, Jim Goodwin was talking about percentage football, and it was certainly that. 3-5-2, they were going back to front and try and get onto the scraps, which when the ball's bouncing around on a kind of bare compact pitch doesn't really help. So I still think I think it might be a draw, but if any team's going to win it, I think Kelly might just get a chance to nick it, and what a big win that would be.
Yep, I think we're about to get underway there at Tannadice. Hearts look bang up for this in the second half, according to David Friel. Is that a nice one as a manager where you get the goal anyway just before, but you can still give them that rocket because it's not quite had enough in the first half, and then not only are the players able to come out flying, but they've got that advantage.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think the goal's key in Derek McInnes's team talk. He'll probably said, look, he's looking for a bit more than was given in the first half. They got the goal, they've got themselves in front, but he'll want that second goal. Second goal's key for Hearts because, again, if Falkirk manage to hold on and the longer the game goes on, they'll start throwing bodies forward. They'll start to take chances at the top end of the pitch. So I really do feel as if the message would have been, go and get that second goal, make the second half much more comfortable for yourselves.
That's the top. The bottom six is getting very interesting indeed, because as things stand, Dundee would be a point behind Aberdeen if they hold on to what they've got at Pittodrie right now, which is a 2-1 lead. Aberdeen would be on 28 points, and therefore they would be right in the mix along with Dundee, St Mirren, Kilmarnock. Dundee United also on 28 points. If Kilmarnock were to get, as Fraser thinks they might, a winning goal at Tannadice, all of the bottom six are in it.
Still a lot to happen before the end of the afternoon, of course. Let's do your teaser, Hugh, whilst we can.
The second half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
Over the course of my career, I played with Kevin Phillips, Stephen Craney and Jackie McNamara. I was managed by John Hughes and Jim Jeffries. And I won the Scottish Cup with 2 different teams. So over the course of my career, I played with Kevin Phillips, Stephen Craney and Jackie McNamara. I was managed by John Hughes and Jim Jeffries. And I won the Scottish Cup with 2 different clubs. Who am I?
Good question. At Clyde SSB, we only need one name. Just throw them at us. Throw as many suggestions as you want. We'll see what sticks and ultimately come up with a podium at the end. So let's hear from you. Southampton have taken the lead, and the reason I mention it, because it's a Scotsman that scored the goal, Ross Stewart, after 48 minutes. You got a wee suggestion, have you?
Oh, very, very early. Got a couple of old names coming up there. Stephen Craney. No, I've not got no.
Oh, nothing yet. Just
you get over
jotting down the
bench over there.
Down the clues.
Give me a time.
Carol Wilson's had to go off injured for Falkirk, which is a blow, but they've got some depth in certain areas, Falkirk, these days. Louis Marsh, the loan signing from Sheffield United, has come on. He's scored already in Falkirk colours and has caused some problems in various games, so he is on for Carol Wilson.
Building up, the tension's building up. Top of the league and the bottom 6. I'm fascinated now by the bottom 6, because by the end of play you could have all 6 teams, and Big Marv thinks he'll get a result tomorrow against Rangers. Could have all 6 teams in the mix. Automatic relegation playoffs.
Wonder what his conduct on the touchline will be, because when he was the assistant, he liked that one where if the team was attacking, he would kick a ball onto the pitch and stop.
He'll have a tactic.
You can't do that as manager, I don't think. I think that's beneath the esteemed office of football management.
Yeah. I think you can instruct somebody to possibly do that.
Yeah. Well, he's got every right to have confidence of getting a result tomorrow. His form's obviously shown that in the league table, that he can beat Rangers at home.
What are we saying? Forget that. What about the more important stuff? He's stuck complete tracksuit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We're not looking for him to smarten up slightly. I'm not expecting.
What could you imagine him in?
Nothing, that's the problem.
Oh,
I don't mean as in. No.
Could throw more than the ball on.
I don't mean wearing nothing. I mean, I think he lives in tracksuits. I think that is maybe the issue. I just wondered if he would smarten it slightly for management.
And I think he's comfortable in that tracksuit. And I think, Marv always looks smart in whatever he wears.
It's the matching yellow and black trainers that I have issue with.
I'm surprised he's not got his Crocs on. Every time he come in here, that's the only thing he had.
VAR check for a Kilmarnock penalty. The ball hits Yovu in his hand. Play on. All good. Fraser Wishart's happy with that, which is good enough for me. Says it would have been harsh.
It's starting to be the old Fraser of old, wasn't it?
What, the 0-0s?
Yeah, the poor games.
He got a penalty though. He's had a bit of drama.
I liked his prediction at half time. Probably good draw, but maybe fancy Kilmarnock, and if Dundee United can get the opening goal, I'll go for him. So he's covered all bases up there at Tannadice, to be fair to the young man.
Arbroath have taken the lead again. Dunfermline had levelled, but Aaron Muirhead, 4 minutes into the second half, has made it Arbroath 2, Dunfermline 1. So that is the latest goal in Scotland to tell you about. We always keep an eye on things down the divisions as well. I just popped up on my Twitter feed there when I was scrolling through for any extra news I had missed. We covered this last night. How good is that Scott McTominay mural?
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
You've not seen it painted on the side of the building next to... It's just kind of behind Lesser Hampden, isn't it?
Yep.
Take a look at that, Dazzler. I don't know if you're an art critic or not.
Yeah.
But how good is that?
He done that, Banksy.
That's a few tins of spray paint, that, isn't it?
Professional company who did
that's
it.
Brilliant.
That's
phenomenal,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Great headline in one paper this morning, said brave art.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So do I, Hugh.
How popular is that going to be for pictures and so on, and everybody getting... But someone actually got in touch, having listened to the show last night, Hugh. It was Adam, and he said that his mate Alex was part of the team that painted it, and sent a picture of said Alex standing on the scaffolding right next to Scott McTominay's head, up at the top. So it was absolutely incredible.
Well,
it really is.
As I told you, my grandson's coming up from Brighton for the Scotland-Japan game, and I'm afraid of what he might try and climb to get his photograph taken right beside the mural.
Oh, don't worry, you can stand in the street. You don't need to climb up.
That's fantastic. Got to say,
really good.
Why don't you swing by on the way home? Get a wee selfie.
Let me think about that, and I'll certainly get back to you.
What was it you said the newspaper headline you liked was, Hugh?
Brave art.
Do you know what? Do you know what I like? Not a headline as such. We've obviously got David Friel of the Scottish Sun and Roger Hanna as well, normally with us, but I'll give a wee bit of credit to their colleague Robert Grieve. Did you see the opener from Celtic the other night? I thought you would like that. Stuttgart were probably braced for an intimidating night in Glasgow. Instead, they were welcomed by Kasper, the friendly host.
Very good.
Yeah, that is good.
The old Bobster.
That was good.
He and I wanted a memorable train journey in Portugal, but I won't go in there. Tell you all about it.
Imagine me stuck in a train with him.
5-hour train journey.
Poor guy.
From Faro to Porto.
Oh, poor guy.
They still speak about it in Portugal.
4 hours, 35 minutes of sleep. Just think about it.
Keep your guesses coming on that second half teaser. It's a who am I, so you don't even need to be bothered with producing a list. Just chuck some names in and see what happens. See if you can get it right. Gordon Dalziel's jotting down the key clues as far as he's concerned, but no answer yet. It is a good one. Some big names in the clues there.
Yeah, they certainly are. Kevin Phillips, what a goal scorer he was.
Won the Scottish Cup with 2 different clubs.
Yeah,
so it was a good one to have in your CV, that, isn't it?
Managed by John Hughes and Jim Jeffries, 2 of the great greeting faces of the world.
Right, where are we? No more goals to tell you about yet. A 20-yarder from Ocean Smith for Partick Thistle, tipped over by Harry Stone as Thistle look for a second. Killie have started the second half brightly. Meant to check in with Fraser, but I thought I heard the restarting whistle go, so kind of came away from him. But pictures I've seen, that pitch does not look good, does it?
Yeah, I've seen pictures as well. It looks awful. Again, for both teams, we mentioned it before the game that both managers have spoke about. It's not ideal to play on it, but it sounds as if Killie, Fraser says Killie are going down the hill. We all know that slope at Tannadice.
Do you think it's that big?
Yeah, I played it with Dundee United for a season, and
it's a left to right slope, isn't it, really?
But I feel like when you're on it, it does make a difference. Whether that's psychologically,
as the goalie with the strikers like above you, you feel like they were running downhill towards you.
I don't know. See, when you're taking a goal kick at the bottom end, just as you come out of the tunnel, it feels like it's a long way to kick to the halfway line.
Uphill.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Fraser's sending me some pictures of the pitch, and it doesn't look great, and it's still raining. And then the problem is, I would not pretend to be a groundsman, but you play on it today, obviously churns it up. If the weather doesn't improve drastically, and it won't, it's just got... It's a kind of never-ending cycle at this time of year, isn't it? It ends up being months before you see a real improvement in it, which is a shame.
And normally the answer over here in Scotland is chuck sand on it, which makes it 10 times worse.
Somerset was, when I was there, was incredible for that.
That's easier though, just go down to your beach.
Well, no,
and just pick up a couple of buckets.
We were fortunate. The chairman owned a building company, and he just brought the lorries in, and away you go. Happy days.
Yeah, it's not ideal. There are a few. I mean, even we've seen a couple of weeks ago Motherwell's pitch, which was brilliant in the last few seasons, maybe struggling a bit more.
I remember Motherwell's pitch back in the day. Do you remember that
really
one?
Bad.
Oh
horrific.
My God, and they put so much sand in it. Oh, awful. I remember playing against Motherwell there, and I think Pascali was the centre half, and the ball came over the top, and it's just bobbled on this beach area on the pitch. It was awful.
I bet Jens Bertolascu feels a bit robbed, given that in the last couple of seasons the pitch has been a bowling green, and the team hasn't kept the ball down very often. Whereas now he's the one manager in the last few years that really needs it to be back to where it was.
But they can still play good football on it. I thought,
see, as good as they were against Rangers, I think you could still tell it wasn't quite the same.
Listen, but we used to wear sambas playing in some pitches.
What does that mean? That's
your
times have moved on.
Times have
didn't
moved
even
on.
Have Channel 5 when you played.
No, they didn't have actually Channel 5.
They can't be using that as like the barometer of what's acceptable, for goodness sake.
Sambas.
Turning up to the home games in the ferry. It was a nightmare, seasick.
Still no other goals to tell you about in Scotland at the moment. We will keep an eye on it, of course. The only Premiership game. There's nearly an opening there for Dundee United. Survey got the toe to the ball. It was then cleared off the line by Ethan Brown. And I don't know if we've ever had a double 1-2 between attacker and defender, because Survey then volleyed it and Brown blocked it again. So the Kilmarnock man doing his job, and it remains Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0. Remember, Amar Fata missed a penalty for United in the first half.
Well, as I say, Dundee United's season has been mediocre at best, and it's not exactly improving. But they are still in the cup. Although it's Falkirk next for them, isn't it, in the cup?
Yeah, it was a big result for them last weekend because Jim
that
Goodwin,
was a good result.
He needed to get away from again such a poor run. I think it was 4 losses in a row, and then the win last weekend, and he needed that. I felt like the pressure would have really ramped up if he didn't get that win.
Yeah, that was a big.
They went into it on the back of
victory.
4 straight defeats.
Yeah, which is awful fun for Dundee United.
Yeah.
Still very tense though at Tynecastle because they know that Falkirk are capable.
Oh, they're certainly capable. There's no doubt about that. So that second goal gives them just a little bit of comfort blanket. They'll be looking for that because you're right, Gordon. It would be, if Falkirk get out there with a draw, it would be not a good day for Hearts.
No.
It's a sort of strange schedule today that we've got the 7:30 on the Saturday night. St Mirren against Motherwell as well, still to come.
Looking forward to that. Bit of dinner tucked up on the recliner, the Welsh scarf on, the strip.
So Masked Singer goes in the back burner. Or is that finished? I know that's usually what you watch on a Saturday evening.
I never watched it last week, so I don't know if it's finished. But it's a Motherwell St Mirren game tonight for me. It'll be an absolute brilliant game.
Big game that, because it's a big one for St Mirren down where they are. But obviously for Motherwell trying to. There've been very, very few, if any, negatives about Motherwell this season. But one of them was the other night in the Cup, and the other was the last time. Not the last time, but a previous meeting with St Mirren, which happened to be in the Cup. So, interesting to see what the response is.
Yeah, again, it was disappointing midweek for Motherwell. So they need to dust themselves down. They've been brilliant in the league. There's no getting away from it. Brilliant all season. But there's been moments in there. So this is a little bit of a different one for them tonight. They're facing off the back of a defeat which they're not used to. They need to respond to that, and they're facing a team that's absolutely fighting for their lives as well. So that's what I would say about St Mirren. They need the points. When you look at results today, it almost just sucks them in. If Kilmarnock can get something today as well, then it becomes a huge game for St Mirren.
I mean, Jens Bertolascu, Gordon, he'll bring Callum Ward back in goal, presumably, after doubling down on changing it. The other thing though is there is still that suspension there from Lucas Fadinger, I think. Yeah, so he was sent off against Rangers, meaning he could come back in for the Cup, but he'll miss this one. Yeah,
the goalkeeper one. Listen, he came in for the first time a little bit of, would you say, criticism for his team selection midweek. I don't buy into that. I know that you could look at the goalkeeping situation, but this is a guy who makes 7 changes, 5 changes, and nobody bothers because they still play the same football. They're still winning games. At Fir Park they were keeping clean sheets. They've only lost 1 goal in 10, and that was against Rangers. So to come in for a bit of criticism because you lost, because it's a one-off, you can't get, it's not like points. You think, right, okay, you can win next week and we can climb the table again or whatever. It's a cup, you're out the cup. I think a lot of Motherwell fans, and the reason they were disappointed was, you look at the next round, you're going to East End Park, Dunfermline. You'd have fancied that big time. I think a lot of Motherwell fans thought that it could be in Hampden for the 22nd or 23rd.
What about the man in the other dugout, Stephen Robinson? 1 win in the last 6 games. 3rd bottom, 3 points above Kilmarnock, who might have narrowed that gap considerably by 5 o'clock tonight, depending on what happens at Tannadice. And the only win they've had is against the league leaders. It's a wacky season.
Yeah, I said last week, we know they're banging trouble, but if Motherwell turn them over tonight, I think they are really, really struggling. If Kilmarnock get that bit of form, I think the plus for St Mirren and the downfall for Kilmarnock is the loss of Jules.
Yeah,
he's a big player.
And at a time when St Mirren have got players coming back. Mark O'Hara, Keanu Bacchus.
And you're hoping they're going to make an impact. Stephen Robinson, he's certainly hoping that. But I just look at Kilmarnock just now, and I think there's still a bit of positivity. I looked at the performance against Celtic in the first half. It was very, very good, very dominant against the top side. So I feel as if they are turning the corner slowly. So St Mirren need to get a result. There's no getting away from it. They need a result desperately.
Yep, could be a tough game, that one this evening. Morton are trailing again. Queen's Park 2, Morton 1. Henry Fieldson with the goal. That could be a big goal at the top of League 2. Certainly if it's the start of something. Stranraer 1, Spartans 1 now. You can remember East Kilbride sort of with the recent advantage, but Spartans looking to reclaim top spot with their games in hand. Alloa 2, Hamilton Accies 0, Luke Donnelly. And the best news you'll hear all afternoon, it is chucking it down at Tynecastle. And if you've ever been, you'll know that the rain
terrible.
Makes it into the press box. And David Friel is banging trouble.
Oh, that's one of the worst, I've got to say. I've only been there once, and I vowed wouldn't go back. And I'm a man of my word, I've not been back.
And they've got these little kind of perspex shields in front of the press box, but they just get covered in rain, and then you can't really see what you're doing. So
I don't know who designed that.
So I'll get someone else to give me updates from Tynecastle rather than David Friel. I mentioned the top of League 2, East Kilbride 3, Dumbarton 1 now. Ali Omar, so is that the start of something that makes life uncomfortable for East Kilbride or not? What about your teaser, Hugh?
In my career, I played with Kevin Phillips, Stephen Craney and Jackie McNamara. I was managed by John Yogi Hughes and Jim Jeffries, and I won the Scottish Cup with 2 different clubs. Who am I? JD
wants to throw in Alex Ray.
Alex Ray, no.
Norma Morrison thinks it could be Charlie Adam.
No.
Jamie wants to go Kevin Kyle.
Kevin Kyle, no.
And Michael thinks it could be Craig Beattie.
No.
Okay, keep your guesses coming at Clyde SSB. Good save, Kellerus in the Kilmarnock goal. It's high to his left. He has to push away a Stevenson effort, 35-yarder no less. And it's a good stop from the Killie keeper, and it remains goalless. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Looking as if it could finish that way.
Yeah. Bit boring.
But a point would do Neil McCann, Billy Dodds. You know, they've just got to claw their way out of there, and they know that St Mirren are tumbling down the table, and they know that Dundee will have had a really good day if they can hold on to the score they have at Pittodrie at the moment.
Brathwaite's fumbled one. It's a long ranger from Jan Danda. It slipped just past the post. Remember, Aberdeen choosing to make that goalkeeping change just after the January window, with Dimitar Mitov dropping out the team. So Brathwaite needs to show, though, that he's a safe pair of hands. He gets away with that one.
If Aberdeen lose today, and they are 2-1 down, you know, you've got Peter Leven and Tony Docherty there, but they are slipping towards the relegation playoffs.
Yeah. I said it before that Aberdeen can lose a lot this season, the way they've handled things. I don't think it's been great. Putting somebody in charge between now and the end of the season that's interim manager, I just feel as if they can lose a lot of fans. They can lose the feel-good factor that was around the club at the start of the season. And it's just been really interesting the way that, again, you look at, they've got experience up there. Alan Burrows, they've got a new sporting director in there. The chairman's very much involved in the club, so I just find it a little bit bizarre the way they've handled it.
I think the other night was huge, though, because that tangibly keeps the season going. If they had gone out of the cup,
it would have been
then
awful.
It really is season just petering out to nothing. So I know Hugh thinks they could get dragged in. It still, I think, looks more likely that they won't.
Yeah.
And if you're just bobbing around there, at least they've got the cup.
You're absolutely bang on. Midweek was massive for them, but again, I just feel like whenever they do go out the cup, then the season is done. And again, they were on such a high coming into this season. They were in such a good place off of the back of that cup win last season, and it just feels as if it's certainly massively derailed the whole club. And I don't think they've handled it the best way they could have, to be honest.
No, I don't think a club of Aberdeen's size, as I say, it's 7 weeks since Jimmy Tilleen was shown the door.
Yeah.
Club of Aberdeen's size. I mean, if the man that you want really and truly doesn't show any inclination towards taking the job, go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that puts him on the back foot as soon as he comes in the door. A lot of fans will be saying, well, why didn't you just join us and assess the squad between now and the end of the season and see what direction you want and get a feel for the club. So it just doesn't sit well with me the way they've handled it.
You should have a bit of pride in yourselves. You know, we are Aberdeen. We are the club who have 2 European trophies and etc, etc, etc. If you don't want to come, fine, we'll get somebody else.
They have been trying to attack in the second half, but they are down to 10 men, of course, which makes life that bit more difficult. Because I even saw a bit of, I don't think criticism is the right word, Gordon. It's a cup tie, all you're asked to do is go through. But as the game was unfolding, I saw a few observers pointing out that even with 9 men, Motherwell still sort of looked maybe a bit more structured, a bit more comfortable with the ball. I think the Aberdeen fans want to see a bit more of that. Like I said, on the night it's just about getting through, but as a more general observation,
yeah, listen, you're right, delighted to go through. You look at, it's a good draw for them. I know it's away from home, but Championship team that are struggling today up at Arbroath, you'd fancy that. I seen bits of the game, Gordon, and you're right, Motherwell dominated a lot of it. You need a little bit of luck now and again. I think Aberdeen probably got that. I think they're bang average, Aberdeen, I really do. I think they just need to get to the end of the season. They have to get the proper man in, and they've got to start signing decent enough players that can take Aberdeen forward.
It is a good draw, but it also could be a disastrous draw. If they lose that game, that ends their season. And again, the negativity that would follow that for the whole club between now and the end of the season would be enormous. So again, they're playing with fire a little bit. I just feel like they're 1 defeat away, and we're just putting all our eggs in that Scottish Cup basket. 1 defeat away from disaster.
Well, we'll see what they can come up with in the second half today, albeit they're down to 10 men, so it's going to be tricky. Elgin City 1, Stirling Albion 0. Matthias Mercado with the goal there. You keep putting an eye on the Seagulls today, Shug?
Yeah, 2
your
up
English team.
2 up at Brentford. My grandson was telling me they've been rotten since November, and there they are against Keith Andrews' Brentford at home, and the Seagulls are 2 up. So Keith, suck it up.
Is that today James Milner becomes the most appearances ever in the English Premier League?
Fair enough, I watched him walking in off the team bus, and I'm thinking, I can't believe he's still playing.
654 English Premier League appearances.
Wow, that's frightening,
that's
isn't it?
Unbelievable.
But nothing is taken at face value in modern football. I don't know if you've seen people pointing out that, so Gareth Barry is the record he's overtaken. Gareth Barry has played something like 14,000 more minutes than James Milner.
Wow.
So appearances, yes, but it's maybe coming on for a few minutes here and there. It's interesting because I've never really seen it.
What title would you rather have?
I know, well, I've never really seen it sort of listed in minutes before. I think it's stuff like that always has appearances, but it does just show you that there's sometimes more to it. So Gareth Barry's played a lot more English Premier League football than James Milner has. But
to be fair, he's some innings
the record holder.
42 of them,
Gareth Barry, he's saying them minutes, it sounds as if
he pretty much played full games all the time.
Incredible. His career, and he probably don't. I knew he played a lot of football, but not to that extent that he played so many minutes.
Something like it works out. It's like 150 games more in minute terms. But anyway, right.
The one that's worrying me here is I hear nothing from Maryhill. It's still 1-0 for the Jags.
As long as you hear nothing, they're still leading. And Arbroath taking 3-1 now.
Yeah, it's a really poor run this. It's a Robbie Fraser own goal as well for Dunfermline. So Arbroath 3, Dunfermline 1. Robbie Fraser putting into his own net. Kizaridis burst down the left there for Hearts. He put a cross in but no takers. And now John McGlynn, because he's always got a plan. John McGlynn, he's a very different manager to the one that previously was in the home dugout at Tynecastle. And from the visiting one today, he's made 4 changes. Cartwright, Williams, Ross and Allen. The 4 subs on for Spencer, Donaldson, Miller and Broggio. So can that get the response from Falkirk?
Well, is it not? I've not seen. Have I seen him making 4 subs in a winner? 4 subs in a winner. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I don't know. I just like the fact that you're putting on nearly half a team again.
What a new energy, is it? With 20 minutes to go.
I don't think I've seen 4 subs going on.
At once, I think you make a fair point. You don't know that. It's quite rare.
Yeah.
I was going to call him the wily old fox, but then I remembered that Martin O'Neill's 10 years older than him. So he's one of the younger managers.
Is this John McGlynn?
Yeah.
You 10 years between them. Queen's Park 2, Morton 2, Ian Wilson with the goal. That's a good game.
Good game.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen, the 10 men of Aberdeen have scored, and it's another free kick from Kevin Nisbet. A wonderful free kick. He scored one against Motherwell in the Cup, and he's done it again. That's one way to score when you're up against it numerically and all the rest. Take your set piece chances, and Kevin Nisbet has done that. So they're down to 10, but it's Aberdeen 2, Dundee 2.
And 20 minutes left to play. Lots of scope for something happening there. Stephen Presley, when 10 men are playing 11, you're looking for better than that, I think.
Yeah, if you're in control of the game, and again, as you say, numerical advantage, you'd be hoping to see that game out, because it would have been a huge 3 points for Dundee. But Aberdeen back in it, absolutely back in it.
Surprised at
that? Yes, I am, because I thought Dundee could go on and win that quite comfortably, because Aberdeen, as I say, they don't excite me. But Nisbet, I always look at him as a box player, but couple of free kicks, absolutely brilliant, important. He's starting to find the back of the net again. Slowly but surely, he's starting to find the back of the net again. So
take me to the World Cup, Steve.
This is when you really want to find your form as a striker. You're on that plane. It's like
feels like it's a long way back for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too far for me. I think there's a number of players in front of Kevin Nisbet.
Incidentally,
if you're talking the teaser, does he? Good on him. Because if you're talking strikers who weren't in like the recent squads, you'd still be guys like Tommy Conway would be ahead of. Aren't in the squad yet, but would be ahead of Kevin Nisbet, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Wait and see what happens with Kieran Bowie.
Yeah.
Over in Italy.
As I say, for me, a number of players ahead of him. Listen, all he can do is put the ball in the back of net between now and when Scotland leave on that plane, and give himself an opportunity. I think it would be a real outside chance of him getting in there, but first and foremost, he needs to get Aberdeen out of trouble.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Dundee United, and it is Amar Fatah. He might have struggled from the spot earlier on, but he's made amends by opening the scoring. He cut in from the left, he's curled a right-footed shot in off the far post. A lovely finish. Probably been one of Dundee United's best players this season. They've not had a brilliant campaign so far, and he has scored what could be a vital goal. 73 minutes gone there, and it's Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 0.
So all of a sudden the complexion of the picture changes in the bottom six. As it stands, Dundee United and Aberdeen, well, Dundee United will go on to 31 points, Aberdeen as it stands 29, Dundee be on 25. So it looks like it's back to Livy, Kilmarnock, St Mirren and Dundee.
Ben Brannan of Inverness on loan from Killie has been sent off for a second bookable offence in 77 minutes. 4 for 1, Annan 1. Cammy, your team have equalised. Tommy Goss with it, just over 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're on the charge.
So it is all happening. There was a Claudio Braga shot on the angle saved a few moments ago that I meant to tell you about, but we got interrupted by the Dundee United goal. Now Kizaridis is cutting in. He's had a shot saved. Will there be a second for Hearts to just calm everything down and definitely put the pressure on Glasgow sides tomorrow?
Well, they'll be hoping that, Gordon, because 1-0 against a Falkirk team that we talked there, we touched on it, 4 substitutions might give them that a little bit of freshness, and somebody could just make a little bit of a name for themselves. Big goal for them. But yeah, if you're Derek, you're still 1-up, so you're still in control of that game, but you would like, as a player and a manager, you'd like to see another one going in the back of the net just to take that bit of pressure off you.
Certainly be nerves in the stadium, and the longer, I said it before, the longer it goes on, it plays more into the Falkirk hands, because they've got nothing to lose. They're 1-0 down, they can start to throw bodies forward. Again, is Brian Graham on yet?
Oh, don't think so.
No, so again, you can put that physical presence up the top end of the pitch and start to go a little bit more direct, and you never know what can happen. So certainly Derek McInnes will be desperate on that second goal.
That's the only thing about 4 subs, isn't it? See, if you're a sub, 4's on and you're still sitting there with your tracks on, I'm taking the huff. I am taking.
They've used 5 now. So
he's used 5. Yeah. That's the only downside.
What was it we identified the other day? He had no clue, but we reckon he's closing in on 650 career appearances, didn't we?
With Big Brian?
Were you not on with him?
No.
I thought you were on with him the other night. Sorry, forgive me.
No, it was was he not on Wednesday? I was on with
I think
Tony.
he needs 4 more appearances
for 600
or 650 across his career.
He was on with Sid.
Correct. Glad you're paying attention. Tony Ugan onto a long ball but shoots wide. So Aberdeen Dundee in the balance.
Yeah, Aberdeen really come out of it smelling of roses if they get a winner with 10 men against 11. But there's tension in the air because what if Dundee score? There's tension in the air at Tannadice because Kilmarnock were expecting better and now they are back in the dogfight. So, and Hearts, the tension's still there. It only takes a second, and if Falkirk get an equaliser, the whole day's ruined.
It's not over yet, Cammy, but you can almost sense this from the Kilmarnock fans. You've seen this many times. When you go as close to a result against Celtic as they did last week, and you play as well as they did last week, it's quite easy to fall into the trap of almost thinking that, well, that's fine, just play like that again next week. We'll definitely beat the teams round about us if we can push Celtic that close. And it quite often doesn't work out that way.
No, listen, I think when you play against Celtic and Rangers, they're completely different games. From going to Tannadice, from going to the Falkirk Stadium, wherever these types of games are completely different from playing the Old Firm. They were very dominant last week, very good in long spells, but again, the system today is different from what they played last week. So I think it'll be disappointing from Neil McCann's point of view if he doesn't take anything away from Tannadice today.
Teaser please, Hugh, if you can.
Yep. Are we doing the big reveal or
no, just more updates. The Falkirk have come close though. Barney Stewart heading over from close range.
Over the course of my career, I played with Kevin Phillips, Stephen Craney and Jackie McNamara. I was managed by John Hughes and Jim Jeffries, and I won the Scottish Cup with 2 different clubs. Who am I?
Scott wants to throw in Paul Lambert.
No.
Craig Meikle thinks it could be Craig Gordon.
No.
Murphy would like to suggest Danny Wilson.
No.
Stu Infinity, I see what you've done there. We've gone Kenny Miller.
Normally the answer to everything, but not this time.
Surprised at that.
I wouldn't let him be the answer to two teasers on the same day. I think we've fallen into that trap before. It never looks good. But anyway, it's not any of those. Montrose 2, Queen of the South 2, good game there. Kai Kennedy's penalty has levelled it up. Similarly, we're level between Cove and Kelty, 1 apiece there. And 4 for 2, and 1. Sorry, Cammy, to tell you. And your team are trailing there. What else have we got? Yeah, David Fields reckoning that Barney Stewart header should have done better. He reckons should have made the goalkeeper work, and Falkirk might look at that as a bit of a missed opportunity. I'm sure the Hearts fans had their breaths held though at that point, Hugh. And that's what's great about it, not from a Hearts perspective, but that's what this is all about. That tension, the real. When would Glasgow be so interested in a Hearts against Falkirk game? You know, that's what it's done to us all.
It wasn't until David said pre-match Hearts last won the title in 1960, and I thought, what? 66 years ago? You know, for a club of Heart of Midlothian standing, 66 years. And that's the way Scottish football has been. Nobody for 40 years has won the title other than Celtic or Rangers, but the Hearts, 66 years. That's incredible.
I think it was 1991 the last time they were top at this stage. Didn't win it then either, but just to point out, that was the last time they were top at this stage, I believe.
I think 1991 Rangers were starting to run away with everything then. That was on their way to 9 in a row. But as I say, we've got 5 big clubs in the country: Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, Dundee United. Aberdeen rather.
Nearly caused an incident.
I know. And for one of the 5 have gone 66 years without winning the title.
That's what happens when the other 2 have got more money than the rest put together. Bruce Anderson's inches wide with a low shot from the edge of the box. He's just on the pitch as well. Well, this could be another blow for Hearts. A real main player this season, Stuart Finlay, off injured. If that's anything close to long term, that'll be a real worry. In isolation, never mind when you add it to the others. Stuart Finlay's been brilliant for Hearts this season. A big player as well. I think the partnership between him and Halkett
at the back's been really good. So that would be a big blow if it's a long-term injury. I'm pretty sure Derek McInnes will be desperate that that's just a little niggle and a knock. Because it's not ideal even in this game when you look at how tight it is. A defender, I think McCart coming on with 10 minutes to go.
But he's not just a threat at defending, he's a threat in the opposite position.
Top scoring centre back in the league.
Is he? How many has he got? Much 6?
He's 5.
Well, Fernandes has got 5.
One of them is in the cup.
In the cup. Sorry, my apologies.
No, don't you be sorry.
No.
That's
I
what
don't
we're
know
here for.
why I took you on there. I need to do my research first before I fall in that trap again.
But anyway, Jamie McCart has come on. I think numerically they're not too bad off there. Jamie McCart, Frankie Kent's an option as well.
Yeah.
Steinvinder, I know, has been playing a right back, but it's a centre back as well. But it's become very clear the main two are Halkett and Finlay.
Yeah, and they've got that relationship, and that's the big thing, is they have a really good relationship. They've been solid this season. They enjoy defending as well, which, when you look games going forward, big games that they'll have coming up, they're going to be under pressure, and they're going to be under pressure at parts in this last sort of 10 minutes, which is a huge 10 minutes for Hearts.
Is he another one, if we are to create a category which is uncapped players who people are going to talk about for a potential World Cup spot, would Craig Halkett be one?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I look at our defence with Scotland, certainly our centre backs. I think it's probably one of the positions that we're really unsure of who is our mainstay centre backs. There's other positions within the team that's already picked for me. Centre back's been an issue for a long period of time. So yeah, listen, you've got to consider Craig Halkett for potentially a position on the plane.
I don't know if anyone this late into the season comes into Steve Clarke's.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But let's say there could be injuries though as well, and you're going to have to. And he's been ferociously loyal at various times in his career and the Scotland career, and of course particularly if you're going to look at. There's almost a feeling that the team that played against Denmark that night all deserve to go. I don't think that's But Grant Hanley was one of them, Cammy, and the longer this season goes on, he's not not necessarily always in the sort of starting 11 at Hibs and so on.
Yeah, so
but I mean, he'll go, won't he? He's just been such a mainstay of.
Yeah,
in fact, he's injured at the moment, though, isn't he? Have I got that right?
Yeah, I think he possibly is. But again, you're right though. Grant's at an age that this obviously is his opportunity at a World Cup. I think Steve Clarke will absolutely have him on the plane.
A hamstring injury.
Yeah, so, but again, you look at the form of a guy like Halkett at the back, Craig Halkett. I think he's obviously in better form. He's performed better for his club this season than Grant Hanley has. So there's a slight question mark. But Steve Clarke, listen, he's so loyal to his players. I think his players have done so much that I don't expect there to be too many changes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's just going to pick up pace. That I think there'll be a lot of clues maybe in the March friendly, because if you're going to try something, it needs to be tried then.
Steve Clarke was at Ibrox last week, of course, doing the telly for the Rangers Hearts game, so you'll have had a look at him. But I really, it would be most unlike Steve Clarke to suddenly come up with something this late in the season. What he's got, he keeps.
Yeah, but like I say, there could be injuries. There could be a couple then that, if somebody was to fall off an absolute cliff completely, and was a kind of on the brink one anyway, Gordon, and then plays absolutely no football as an example. You never know.
Yeah, I do agree. Listen, we all agree Halkett has been absolutely brilliant for Hearts this season, but unless there's injuries, then I don't see him making the squad.
Do you think it would have been awkward for Lawrence Shankland sitting next to Steve Clarke in the TV studio last week?
No, you'd be saying I'm okay.
Do you think he'd be trying to get any words of encouragement from him?
I would
Steve,
have
just out of curiosity, should I be staying away from any holidays next summer?
Yes, do I book my holiday?
No, you go the clever one. By the way, I've not updated my passport. What's the thoughts?
I don't have Steve Clarke down as being someone who would give anything away.
No,
somehow.
I just
wondered if it would have been awkward.
I looked at him on the telly and I thought, is he bored being up here, or is that just the 1,000-yard stare that you get from Steve Clarke all the time?
Dom Thompson has gone close. It's a fierce shot across the keeper, just wide, as Kilmarnock look to try and level things up at Tannadice, but not doing yet. Let's go for In fact, this might need to be it, Hugh. I think we're nearly done, so let's round it off.
The second half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrants drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I played with Kevin Phillips, Stephen Craney and Jackie McNamara. I was managed by John Hughes and Jim Jeffries, and I won the Scottish Cup with 2 different teams. I'm Neil McCann.
Neil McCann, well done if you got it right. I don't think he's enjoying his afternoon at the moment. I don't think he'll be cheered up by us telling him it was the answer to the second half teaser, but he is, and Scott Connie knew it, just not quite as fast as Greg Dunlop, and in turn not as fast as Dale Patterson. Loads of you got Neil McCann in the end. Gordon Dalziel got it, but he was way slower than you lot, so well done, and we'll do the teasers all over again next week.
I'm sure he'll be looking for 7 added minutes on Canada.
Of course he will. Well in, Daz.
Yeah, I don't think he'll complain if that happens.
Pataudry.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Dundee. It's Aberdeen 2, Dundee 3, and it's another rocket from Ethan Hamilton. Did it at Celtic Park in the Cup, and he's done it again. 25 yards out, smashes it into the net, and the 11 men of Dundee have taken the lead against the 10 of Aberdeen.
If that stays the case for another 5 minutes, then the sound of booing will be heard, and then some at Pataudry.
They are down to 10 men, though. It did sort of give Dundee that favourites tag maybe heading into the closing stages.
Listen, no, it's still unacceptable result for Aberdeen getting beat at home to Dundee, whether they're down to 10 men. I don't think that the fans will care about that. Yes, you can use that as an element. I'm pretty sure Peter Leven won't, though, because he's managed to get his teams back on level terms, and then they've conceded a goal to potentially not take anything out of the game. So that's a real hammer blow. But again, flip it, massive goal for Dundee. Huge goal.
Only a point behind Aberdeen.
Ethan Hamilton is good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Been really impressed with him recently.
Look, Graham playing today for Dundee.
I think
he's got a lot of interest growing in him.
Arbroath 4, Dunfermline 2. Finlay Marshall has rounded it off, I should say, for Arbroath in the closing stages there. 5 minutes added on at Tynecastle. That will be nervy. Hearts have had a free kick 25 yards out. How important that could be if they score again, but they haven't. Kaiseridis has had the free kick saved, so it will be a tense closing few minutes. It is an absolute stunner from Ethan Hamilton, by the way. Andy Halliday and Roger Hanna, they have to pick their goal of the weekend on a Monday, and it's going to take some to beat this. We mentioned the one at Celtic Park, which was brilliant. It's actually from a very similar position, but he does a bit more. Dances onto his left. I think it hits the crossbar and goes in, which, as everybody knows, always makes it look better. It is an unbelievable strike, according to Dave Galloway. Genuinely top drawer. Keep an eye out for this one later on, and it could be an important one for Dundee as well. We're probably at about 4 minutes added now, Hugh, at Tynecastle. Do you think it will get nervy?
Oh, for sure. But if Hearts win 1-0, it doesn't matter how nervous the fans were throughout the game. It doesn't matter that it was a single goal victory. The only thing that matters is that Hearts go 5 points clear of second top Rangers, and Rangers have to go to Livy tomorrow and do their jobs now.
Agree, Hugh. It's all about the 3 points.
Yep.
Put the pressure on the big two tomorrow. It's not been a great performance. It was always got to be difficult. I said there wouldn't be a lot of goals, and I was correct. So wins so far been enough.
Fair play to any Ross County fan who made the more than 4 hour drive to Ayr for a 0-0 this afternoon. But it's finished Ayr United 0, Ross County 0. Full time at Firhill in the Championship. Let's speak to Alison.
Yeah, full time here, and it finishes Partick Thistle 1, Airdrie 0. It wasn't pretty, it was nervy at times. We had 8 yellow cards on this one, but Thistle take a massive 3 points this afternoon and close the gap on St Johnstone, just to 3 points, and with a game in hand still to play. The tension inside Firhill as that second goal eluded Thistle was palpable, but they got themselves over the line, and that's all that matters now at this stage of the season. It ends a really decent week for them, the 150th anniversary celebration. Saints dropping points on Friday night and puts them firmly in the frame now for an engrossing title run-in. It could and should have been more comfortable than it was. Ocean Smith had a 20-yard effort tipped over by Harry Stone as Thistle looked for that killer second goal just to add to Ben Stanaway's first half free kick. It would have taken the edge out of the game. Tony Watt should have got it. He was picked out at the back post after a cracking run from Jag substitute Aidan Fitzpatrick, but he side-footed his effort well wide of the target. The tension was felt on and off the pitch. The Jags fans were irritated at referee Ewan Anderson. They felt as though he was letting too much go while Thistle fans were getting into the book. It was just that kind of tousy afternoon, and the game itself got really scrappy as the rain fell. Thistle had chances. Dan O'Reilly blasted over from just inside the 6-yard box after Airdrie had failed to clear their lines from corner, and Fitzpatrick forced a decent save from Stone just at his near post. They got there, however, in the end, and all eyes turn now to Tuesday night. Thistle are away to East End Park, where they take on Dunfermline, and St Johnstone play Queen's Park. For tonight, no, the 3 points are in the bank.
Thank you to Alison. Late drama at Tannadice.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Yeah, and it's an equaliser for Kilmarnock. It's a Marley Watkins header. Greg Kiltie with the cross. It's a lovely header. Sort of glances it. It loops up and into the far corner. And in the 91st minute, it looks like Kilmarnock have rescued a point. It's full time at Tynecastle. David Friel.
Full time, Gordon, Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. Duncan Nicholson's full time whistle brought huge relief around Tynecastle. I've just heard chants of "we shall not be moved." The Hearts fans are believing, Derek McInnes and his players are believing, and no wonder. Job done for them. They moved 5 points clear at the top of the Premiership. They weren't at their best, but the Tynecastle crowd doesn't care about it. Derek McInnes doesn't care about that. They had to win today, and they did. They were under so much pressure to bounce back from that Ibrox defeat last week. They had to get 3 points, and they did. Islam Chesnikov's first goal for the club in first half injury time was enough to secure a priceless win. Derek McInnes is out there just now, a very happy man. He kicked every ball on the sidelines, but along with everyone, I have a Heart's persuasion he will be so relieved that they got the 3 points today. He can now put his feet up tomorrow and watch Rangers, watch Celtic, and see how they get on. It was a huge win for Hearts, and they had to do it the hard way, already without so many key players, and they then suffered a late blow before the game when record signing Aziu pulled up injured in the warm-up and had to be replaced by Blair Spittle. Falkirk played well all afternoon. They definitely started better. Brad Spencer, Kyrell Wilson both had efforts in the first few minutes. Hearts were struggling to find a rhythm. Alexandros Kiviridis, he was their best man. He cut in from the left, had a shot blocked finally. Blair Spittle then came so close when Claudio Braga set him up 12 yards out, but his shot was deflected over. Barney Stewart, Ben Brojo both had chances for Falkirk. They continued to press. Then came late drama in the first half. Kizaridis found Chesnikov inside the box, and he poked a finish into the bottom corner. Hearts' first shot on target, his first goal for the club, and what a big one it was. You could feel relief around the stadium at that point. Hearts then almost made it 2-0 within seconds of the restart. Claudio Braga found space at the edge of the box, but his low shot went wide. Chances were scarce after that. Chesnikov had a volley deflected over the bar. Braga, Kizaridis both had shots saved by Scott Bain before there was a real scare up the other end. The Falkirk corner was worked to Barney Stewart at the back post, but he headed over. It was really tense in the closing stages, as you can imagine, especially when Stuart Finlay limped off injured. He's been such a mainstay for Hearts. Derek McInnes will be hoping it's nothing serious, but Hearts managed to see it out. They've extended the lead at the top, and it's now over to the Glasgow 2 tomorrow. Full time, Hearts 1, Falkirk 0.
Big result that. It's full time at Tannadice. There was late drama I haven't even told you about, not in the form of a goal, but I'll let Fraser Wishart explain.
Yeah, there was late drama indeed. United 1, Kilmarnock 1, and after the first 45 minutes you had no idea that the second half was going to be so dramatic. Really good second half. In the first half, best two chances fell to United in a very poor 45 minutes. Fourth minute, Lucas Stevenson did well on the right hand side, drove in a low cross. Panucci Kamara diverted the ball towards goal from 10 yards, hit the bar full on, and was scrambled away by Robbie Dees. 39 minutes, Homeside a great chance, a penalty kick across still to Ferry at the back post. He chopped inside, Brad Lyons stuck a leg out, John Beaton gave a penalty. VAR agreed, up still at Amir Fata, not a great penalty with the side foot. It allowed Roos to dive to his right and push the ball away. Hope for better in the second half, and we actually did. There was better purpose from both sides. Kelly change that actually had a dramatic effect on the game, brought on Marley Watkins, 4 lines, and they started brightly. Watkins cross, and Yobo sliding in, the ball hit him in the body, then hit his hand. VAR check, no penalty kick. Then at 54 minutes at the other end, Vico Savelli almost scored. He got his toe to the ball, was rolling towards goal, cleared by Ethan Brown. Then 30 seconds later, United man struck a left foot volley, caught it really well, again blocked by Brown as it was heading goalwards. But United got a real lift from that and had a good spell of pressure. 62 minutes, it was Roos who kept the scores level. A good diving save, high tees left, a really good strike by Lucas Stevenson for 25 yards. And in 73 minutes, United took a deserved lead redemption for Fata after his missed penalty. He cut inside Shoning Larsson, who'd already been booked. He couldn't challenge him, and the winger curled the ball from about 18 yards in off the far post. Roos with no chance. Kelly knew they had to throw everything forward to try and get at equaliser. Sub Bruce Anderson just on. First touch was to pull a low shot, inches wide of the post. 86 minutes, Dom Thompson struck the ball brilliantly from the corner of the box. Goalkeeper's well beaten, again inches wide of the post. And just before the 90 minutes came the big chance for Kelly, an outswinger, and Ethan Brown caught the ball sweetly with his head. He should have scored from 6 yards. Good save by the goalkeeper, but the centre back should have scored. And you thought that was it for Kilmarnock, but Sub Watkins didn't see it that way. Greg Kiltie again on the right hand side, swung in across, an outswinger and a lovely header. He flicked it with his head, Watkins, and it looped over the goalkeeper into the back of the net. And there was still drama in the dying seconds. United broke away. Fata got in behind Jack Thompson, and the young midfield player and substitute brought him down. It was a straight red card, denying a goal scoring opportunity, and he walked off. He didn't have any complaints, and he's probably got his team a deserved point. United looked like they were going to win. They were a goal ahead. They deserved it. But I think just overall, in the last 10-15 minutes in particular, Kelly showed enough to get that point, and they'll go down the road very happy with a 1-1 draw. Finish here, Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Action-packed ending to the game at Tannadice, and just on cue, Dave Galloway has a full-time story from Pittodrie for us.
Yes, Gordon, and what an afternoon it's been here at rain-soaked Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Dundee 3. A really bright start by Aberdeen. McCracken's poor attempt to clear the ball, seized upon by Keskinen, who set up Nisbet on the angle, but he could only head wide of a gaping goal. The hosts deservedly scored after 13 minutes. A frame linked well on the left with Keskinen, who set up Nisbet. His snapshot was poorly parried by McCracken, and Olusanya looked initially to have got the final touch, but Nisbet was awarded the goal. Dundee, though, came right back into things, forced 3 quick corners and looked much more threatening, and they equalised after 40 minutes, but in hugely controversial circumstances. Stephen McLean gave a penalty for Morrison's challenge on Ugan. It all looked to have started outside the box, to be honest, but after a long delay, the penalty was confirmed after Morrison got a straight red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Murray, though, made a great job of his spot kick. Then in added time in the first half, the visitors scored again. Congreve shot from a tight angle. Brathwaite couldn't deal with it, and his flap knocked the ball against Cotterill, who was given that goal. A chorus of boos greeted the half-time whistle. Was it aimed at the home team, the referee, or both? Into the second half, and the 10-man Dons did try to hit back. Cameron's free kick was headed straight at McCracken by Nisbet. At the other end, Brathwaite fumbled Danda's drive wide, and a back heel flick from right went just past. Aberdeen equalised after 69 minutes with a magnificent free kick by Nisbet, curling into the top corner from 25 yards. Yagan was put through on goal for Dundee by a ball over the top, but under pressure from McIntyre. He couldn't hit the target. Both sides going for the winner, and after 84 minutes, Hamilton got it for Dundee to put them 3-2 up with a stunning strike, also from about 25 yards into the top corner after Yagan picked him out. A goal really fit to win any game. Dundee then get their first victory at Pittodrie for 22 years, but the gloom and doom deepens for the Dons. Entertaining stuff overall, very much so. It finished Aberdeen 2, Dundee 3.
And now it's over to you on a Saturday evening. 01419511025. What are you thinking tonight then? If you're reflecting on today's games, that is what a Saturday afternoon is all about. Partick Thistle fans, are you getting a bit excited that you closed the gap to 3 on St Johnstone at the top of the Championship? Can you do it under Mark Wilson's guidance? How are you feeling about that picture, that title race at the moment? Hearts fans, how big was that today? And Celtic and Rangers fans, maybe a bit of honesty from you. Were you tuned in all afternoon? Were you desperately invested in a Falkirk goal like you've never been before, hoping that they would rob Hearts of points? They couldn't manage it. So how does the title race sit tonight with the pressure going on Glasgow's Big 2 tomorrow? Speaking of tomorrow, a very simple question, Celtic fans. Should Kasper Schmeichel start the game tomorrow, or not? Let us know right now, please. 0141 951 1025. Rangers fans, are you confident ahead of the trip to Livy, or are you fearing Bartley Ball? Ryan Nadiri might not make it. Dujon Sterling won't make it. Is there anything in particular you would do with the team? Loads to get through tonight, so please give us a call right now if you can. 0141 951 1025, and we will speak to you next.
Buzzing for the game this week. I want to hear what my mates are saying. I want to tell them they're delusional. I want to tell them who'll score first. I want to call the half-time score and the full-time score. And when our kid pipes up and says, "Want to bet?" I'll stop. Think about it. Check my limits. Check how much I've played. And maybe I'll think, nah, not today, mate. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. Gamble responsibly. Betfred. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk/podcast to learn more.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
When ordinary people take on extraordinary challenges. When it's the finale after weeks of competition. When it's time to go big or go home.
So, who do you want to win?
Him. Good hair.
Classic reason, yeah?
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, plus BBC iPlayer, with all the reality shows you love to talk about. Search TV licence together.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
It's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here to look back on today's action and or preview tomorrow's. There is a lot to get through. We want that immediate reaction to today. You're coming out the game, maybe you're at Firhill and you think this could be a big turning point. St Johnstone dropping points last night. We win today. Jags for promotion. Or is it not quite that simple? In the title race, it was all eyes on Tynecastle today, so Hearts fans, love to hear from you on how important you thought that was. And then I guess Celtic and Rangers fans, what it means for you and how much the pressure goes on tomorrow. And once we get to tomorrow, Kasper Schmeichel, start or not start? That's the question for you Celtic fans tonight. Please give us a call and we'll speak to you very soon. Brian is a Partick Thistle fan. Brian, does this feel like a big weekend?
It's great points. Under Mark and Alex were playing absolutely brilliant. But what I think is the game against St Mirren, the cup tie, if we can beat them, then I think we will get promotion. If we can't beat St Mirren, there's no point in us being out there.
What?
How do you work that out?
Explain that logic. So if Premiership and League Cup winning St Mirren knock you out of the Scottish Cup, then that means you can't win the league either.
No, I'm just saying we shouldn't be entitled to win the Premier League. Because some are not having a bad time. Yeah.
But they're still favourites to beat you. You know, that's just the way it works, isn't it?
That goes for nothing. Celtic and Rangers have been favourites all season to beat this team, that team, and they've got totally defeated. Do you know what I mean?
Not entirely, if I'm being honest.
Brian, you've got a totally miserable attitude towards your team.
See if Hugh Keevins is saying that's a worry.
If you start the conversation by paying tribute to Alec and to Mark for the job they've done, and Partick Thistle are playing really well, you're 3 points off the leaders. Surely you give them credit for what they are doing in the division where they live. The Scottish Cup tie is neither here nor there in terms of the promotion bid.
And Thistle will have to play that tie without the players on loan from St Mirren.
Yeah, and plus the fact they're playing away from home, right? And Hugh made a good point there. Partick Thistle right now are a championship side. They're based on, they pay championship wages.
And then some.
Yeah. If they did get promotion, obviously money comes into play, more sponsor, everything, they get better quality players. I don't know where Brian's going with that. I think that's, he does, compliment Mark and Alex about the way they're going about their business. Rightly so, because if you're a Partick Thistle fan, you must be delighted so far. But I don't know where he's going with the cup one.
Brian, how do you rate your chances of promotion at this point?
What I was trying to point out, if we can't beat a team like St Mirren, what chances are we going to have against teams like Hearts, Rangers, Celtic?
No.
You're a different squad.
Just worry about that if it ever happens. Yeah. That might be the most Scottish mindset of all time.
Do you think Falkirk said that last year?
Let's not get promoted in case we can't beat Hearts. Yeah, that's not the way it works.
No. Listen, for me, Brian, I think you've got to enjoy what you're doing at the moment. It was a brilliant win for Partick Thistle today. They're right on the tails of St Johnstone. You're right in the fight for getting automatic promotion, so just enjoy it. I think that comment there, listen, Daz said it there, everything changes once you get promoted. Your budget gets bigger, you're able to bring in better players, you can get better loan players from other teams as well, so everything absolutely changes if you manage to get promoted next season, so just enjoy this moment.
This was a weekend that improved Partick Thistle's chances, obviously. St Johnstone failing to win last night, drawing at Wraith Rovers, Partick Thistle winning today, and that does mean the gap is 3 points. They've played the same amount of games, so St Johnstone are obviously still favourites, but is it do you ever know if it's a momentum shift, or is there just too many twists and turns in the Championship? Because this has happened before.
Too many twists and turns. I watched St Johnstone Partick last night, wasn't greatly impressed with them. Look, there's a lot of teams there that can take points off you. Whether they've got a great opportunity to finish in first, no doubt, but you would still say slightly St Johnstone's favourites, because in the January window they went and added a few good players to their squad. But the important thing for Thistle is, if they can't win it, finish second. Because I remember under Brian Graham they were the fourth in the playoffs and they were doing very, very well, but they ran out of steam. Too many injuries, didn't have the squad to get through the playoff games, too many games for them. So the worst scenario, finish second, but Mark and Alec have put themselves in a great position here to go and win the thing.
Thank you very much to Brian on the line. What about the top of the Premiership though? Hearts won today, over to Celtic and Rangers tomorrow. Stevie's in Gallaghill. What are you thinking, Stevie?
How are you doing, lads? How's it going?
Good, Stevie.
Well, what I'll say is, I watched the Hearts and Falkirk game today, and the Falkirk were brilliant, by the way. First half they were fantastic. Should have probably been 2 or 3 up. However, what I'm really disappointed in, and this is Scottish football at its best, towards the end of the game, Hearts are winning 1-0. And the Hearts players were dropping like flies. Right, I mean, they were doing, I've got cramp, I've got this cramp, I've got that, and I've got this. And I said, this is unbelievable. Honestly, I think that Scottish football is becoming a joke now.
Stevie, do you know what is bad about Scottish football is the hypocrisy. See if a couple of Rangers players waste some time and it allows you to beat Celtic next week, you'll be jumping up and down your living room celebrating it. Don't pretend you won't be. What's the point?
Help the Celtic players back up, so to make it a contest.
Not a chance, Stevie, not a chance. See if it's the last day of the season, 3 teams are in it, and Rangers take a bit of time over things and run down the clock and win the game and win the league, you will not care a jot.
It was a joke, right? Now, what I'm saying, let me get my point across here. Hearts were dropping like flies. Now, Scottish football is, I'm not going down the conspiracy route, right?
Good.
I'm not saying that, right? I'm not going to say that, but Celtic get demolished the other night there, right? Now, it just shows you what, I mean, if we get down the route with these referees again, and Celtic are going into Europe, even Rangers, our Hearts, we're going to get demolished. And that's my point of view.
You've managed to find that on this programme,
a full moon tonight or something, 2
grumpy old men who make me look like Kevin Bridges. I mean, that he was going down the conspiracy route. A load of old tripe. On to the next caller.
But listen, see the thing about Hearts, maybe they were wasting a bit of time or whatever. Who cares, Cammy? Like, seriously, that annoys you when it's against your team, but that stuff only holds water if your team would never do that, and it's just not the case. Like, everybody, it always suits people up to a point, and then you get annoyed when other teams do it. Hearts are 1-0 up at home, they're trying to win a league, they're hanging on a wee bit. End of story.
Every team does it. There's no getting away from it. Every team does it. It's game management. That's ultimately what it is. They manage the game. It's up to the referee to make the decision whether he's properly injured. If the physio comes on, he would obviously need to leave the pitch. So listen, that's just game management for me. It's happened for years. It will continuously happen. You can't, as a referee, judge if somebody's injured or not. If they go down, the physio needs to come on, then so be it. So listen, you see it all the time, and as I say, part of that is drilled into them through management as well, because they've got to get the 3 points. It was so important for Hearts today, and Rangers, Celtic, anybody else would do the exact same to get the 3 points.
How big a win was this, or how important a win was this for Hearts? For Hearts today,
huge, monumental, because had they drawn or lost, then there was a prospect of Rangers being top tomorrow night. So all they can do, we can argue all we like about budgets, this, that, the other. All that Hearts can do is keep going. They've had their injury problems and they have overcome them to a degree. But all they can do is keep going while knowing that the 2 teams beneath them are still breathing down their neck.
It was a big win, Hugh, because a lot of people would have been looking at this game thinking, right, if Hearts had to drop anything today after Rangers, the bubbles burst.
Yeah,
100%.
That is exactly what you were going to get. They didn't look, it wasn't a convincing victory, but it's 3 points in the bag, move on. Another game ticked off. And if Rangers were winning with a couple of minutes to go, I think Steve would go down with cramp as well, to be quite honest with you.
In many ways, it was just probably quite typical of what we've come to get from Hearts recently, in the sense that nobody's celebrating the performance, they're not battering teams, and for some people that's the sign that they won't win it. You know, not sort of convincing enough, not swashbuckling enough. But for other people, they spin it the other way and say, but they get the job done. And it's not like they're just getting the job done in October. It's the end of February, so if maybe they can keep doing this till the end of the season.
Yeah, they can, for me. I think they're masters of it. They know how to do it. Derek McInnes is a manager that's been round the block. Again, them messages of players going down and slowing the game up, taking control of the game again with your game management, they'll be coming from the manager, and there's nothing wrong with that, because ultimately it's about getting the 3 points, and that's all Hearts need to do between now and the end of the season, is get 3 points week in, week out, and they'll be champions. So it's not going to be as easy as that. I think that the doubt's there because it's very, very closely contested with the 3 teams at the top.
And a little bit of sort of adversity to overcome, Gordon. We all act like it's a big deal when Lawrence Shankland and Cammy Devlin drop out of the team, and it is, but then we forget about it almost, and you kind of move on. But today, Aguiu, who's the record signing, they're hoping that he can help give them a spark towards the end of the season. He pulls out minutes before kick-off. Stuart Finlay goes off injured. Benny Beningame didn't play today. Back to kind of what we spoke about at the start, Hearts have been top 21 weeks now, but they still don't have anywhere near the resources of Celtic and Rangers. So when they get injuries, it is going to hit them harder, it is going to stretch them further, and they've come through that today.
Oh, they've done brilliantly, because Falkirk was always going to be a difficult game, Gordon. They go there, Hearts are firm favourites, and Falkirk Stevie said he watched the game. Obviously, he was at Tynecastle, and said that Falkirk played particularly well. But it's all about just getting the results. And Derek will be delighted when he gets some of those big hitters back. He'll be a bit concerned about Finlay going off. Hopefully for Hearts it's just a slight niggle, because his partnership with Halkett in the centre of defence has been so important for them. So they have got good players, they have got a good squad. They've not got the riches of Celtic or Rangers, but they're up there on merit.
I like the way this is swinging tonight. Thank you to Stevie for his thoughts. We go back to the top of the Championship, where Nathan is a Partick Thistle fan. Nathan, big win today, given St Johnstone slipped up last night.
Aye, how you doing, panel? Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
It was a big 3 points today. I just kind of want to briefly touch on what the first Thistle fan was talking about. Brian, I don't know what pub he's sitting in the room on, but I think he needs to put his drink down and go up the road. But I don't actually think that the job that Alex Ray and Mark Wilson are doing it for Hull is getting talked about enough, to be brutally honest with you. And you think about St Johnstone probably just went and spent more money in January than we've been able to spend all season. Do you know what I mean? And to be like, no drop many names, but Jonathan Sutherland is a prime example. Do you know what I mean? Say every week that St Johnstone are the runaway leaders, but they've never ran away from him. Do you know what I mean? Thistle have been kind of nipping at their heels all week, all season. So now it's back down to 3 points. Both of us are playing on Tuesday night. We need to play them at Firhill very soon. So I just think that it's kind of heating up quite nicely. But the job that's going on at Firhill now has just been unbelievable.
Do you know what's what's more remarkable about it? I had a chat with Mark this morning. I was on the phone to him, and I read his interview the other day there. You're right, St Johnstone, Nathan, they had the luxury going and taking Queen's Park's best player, right?
And brought in Aggie Man and Rory Payton.
Yeah. Mark's at a situation with Partick that he has to even the books. He's having to let players go out to get the money to make sure that the books are level for Partick Thistle when they're going for promotion. So the job that the two of them are doing there is remarkable. I seen their squad at the start of the season, pre-season, and I've got to say, I remember saying to Mark, if you finish in the top 5, top 6 here, you'll be doing a fantastic job. They're in with a chance of winning this championship.
I commend Mark Wilson in particular for this reason. It was his third chance at football management, and he knew he had to make it successful, and he knew he had to leave this programme behind and not combine the two and not have fans say, he spends too much time on that radio. He took his chance to prove that he can be a top class football manager, and he's there 3 points off the top of the championship on, as Daz has pointed out, limited resources. Absolutely fantastic job he and Alec are doing.
Thank you very much to Nathan from Kilsyth. 0141951 1025. What about tomorrow's action? Celtic against Hibs. And Celtic fans, the question is a simple one. We want to know tonight, does Kasper Schmeichel start the game tomorrow or not? Call us right now with your answer on 0141951 1025, and we'll hear from you next.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Buzzing for the game this week. I want to hear what my mates are saying. I want to tell them they're delusional. I want to tell them who'll score first. I want to call the half-time score and the full-time score. And when our kid pipes up and says, want to bet? I'll stop. Think about it. Check my limits. Check how much I've played. And maybe I'll think, nah, not today, mate. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. Gamble responsibly. Bet Fred. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz all Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Stop, listen, chicken. The 10 mini fillet bucket, $7.99. 10 succulent mini fillets. Buy, eat, digest. Good, repeat. Get the deal, believe in chicken. KFC. Until 22nd of March, subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. Excludes delivery. Full T's and C's at kfc.co.uk.
Because you like spotting yellow cars before your kids do. Because you like to read the score on the screen, especially when you're winning. Because there's a Boots Opticians about 2 minutes from work. Because we have clinical experts and all the latest tech. Because your eyes deserve our ultimate eye test. Because we'll help you find your perfect style. Because of all these things, there's only one choice. Boots Opticians. See what's possible.
Wrong tool for the job? Don't make that mistake with your van. Get up to 30% off selected new Toyota vans and pickups with a warranty up to 10 years or 100,000 miles with every qualifying routine service. Visit your nearest Toyota centre or visit toyota.co.uk/van savings for more details. Savings on selected vans and pickups ordered by the 31st of March 2026. UK residents. See toyota.co.uk for full details. T's and C's apply.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. We're asking you, Celtic fans, would you start Kasper Schmeichel tomorrow or not? You three, get us up and running in the studio.
No for me. I think being a fantastic goalkeeper, he's still got a little bit left in him. I think that maybe by the time the end of the season comes, he may look at hanging up his gloves. I just think his confidence is gone, Gordon. He looks like a guy that's shattered. He looks like a guy whose confidence is gone. I would be looking to make that change.
You worried me when you said shattered there, I must admit. But Cammy, what do you think? Drop him tomorrow or not?
Do I think he will be dropped?
No, give me both then.
Right, so I don't think he will be dropped.
But you think he should be?
Yeah, I think there's a time to take him out of the team, and I think this is probably a moment that they could take him out of the team tomorrow, just allow him to reset. And again, we've seen it happen obviously with Jack Butland last season. He had a period where he had to come out of the team and then came back stronger from that. So yeah, I think probably looking at this moment for Kasper, it maybe is just a time to reset and take him out of the team.
I tried to float the scenario that he could be an honest professional, go to Martin O'Neill and say, look, we both know I shouldn't play, but the two professionals in the studio with me have said that's not how players think, and on that basis Martin O'Neill will start the game against Hibs with Kasper Schmeichel.
It's going to be interesting. Then give us your thoughts on that, Celtic fans, and let us know if you agree with the guys. So you all think he should be dropped though, but none of you think he will be?
I sort of go down that road. I think that I would leave him out. I would leave him out, but I think Martin O'Neill
won't leave him out tomorrow.
No.
I wonder if there's anyone out there who does think he should stay in, because maybe we've not seen a lot of Sinisalo, but then is that harsh on him? Doesn't mean he's not deserving of the chance.
Not necessarily Sinisalo either. I mean, Ross Doohan's there.
Yeah, it's going to be Sinisalo though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you pay what, regionally £1 million, right? You've got a goalkeeper there that's sitting watching howler after howler, and he must be saying to himself, when's it my turn to get a chance here?
Michael is on the line. What would you do, Michael? Sorry, Michael, I think that's my fault. Have we got you now?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
you.
sorry, that was my fault. Take us away. Would you drop him tomorrow?
I would definitely drop him. He's been really poor all season, and it's having an effect on the central defence. You see, Trusty's a nervous wreck in front of him, and his distribution of the ball has been absolutely hopeless. He doesn't go for a ball in the 6-yard box. You'll notice opposing players that surround the other goalkeepers. They don't surround Schmeichel because you know he's not going to move at the 6-yard box or in the 6-yard box. He's staying on his line. And he's been like that all season. Thank the big guy for his services, but with Ibrox in mind as well, our reserve keeper needs some game time. And obviously we've got the away tie in Stuttgart as well to come, so he needs to bring the reserve keeper in tomorrow, and Schmeichel needs to go back to the drawing board. I think he's carrying an injury with his shoulder, because you see a lot of the time he can't move on one side. He can't get up for the ball.
Do you think it is just one side though, Michael? Because we mentioned this last night. People keep talking about the left side. Mikey Moore's goal goes right through him on his right side against Rangers. The Scottish Cup final one against Aberdeen, it's his right hand that he comes out and flaps with. So is it that simple, do you think?
I think he's definitely carrying some sort of injury, because he is flapping. It's the Mikey Moore one, and then the ones last week. I mean, and then in Europe there during the week. You know, I blame him for the 4 goals. I think he could have done better with the 4 of them. I just think he's really lost it now. And as I said, it's causing mayhem in defence, because Trusty is a nervous wreck from him. The central defence don't have any faith in him.
I think, to be fair, Trusty can look a nervous wreck on his own without any help from the goalkeeper. I think it's a nightmare situation for Martin O'Neill, because you've got an important game against Hibs. Very important. They haven't won at Celtic in the league for 16 years, but they have a very good chance tomorrow. And then, for me, I repeat, I fear for Celtic in Germany against Stuttgart. If Sinisalo were to play there, then what might it do to his confidence ahead of a league game against Rangers that is monumentally important?
Well, forget that, Hugh. You're talking about what to do for his confidence. I think if he doesn't get picked tomorrow, he must be sitting there thinking, I'm not in the plans under Martin O'Neill here. I'll need to wait for a new manager coming in. Because I think everybody agrees, we're not criticising Schmeichel as a goalkeeper. His form just now is not there. He doesn't look mobile enough to me. He looks like any shot that's come towards him has got a chance of hitting the back of the net. And the sad thing about it is, and I hate it, I watched the game the other night there, and near the end he made a save, and a simple save, and fans are starting to cheer. Good, so listen, as a strong character, I'll even get to him.
But then even Michael there, and I think it's very harsh blaming him for all 4 goals. But again, when you start making mistakes as a goalkeeper, you become a target. So again, you look at, could he saved all 4 goals? Listen, there's a possibility of saving any goal, but I think there's certainly 2 within the game that I mentioned, the first and the third, that he is at fault with. He understands that.
The point about distribution, is that an issue as well, where if that's dropped off, because I'm not saying you put up with a goalie that can't save the ball, right? That's a bit of an issue. It's quite an important skill. But when he was first signed, it was seen as being a real strength. And I don't think anyone should rewrite history here, because I noticed last night a lot of Celtic fans love Joe Hart and they love the character, and they kind of idolise him, and now Schmeichel's getting it. I typed into my search bar on Twitter or X this morning, Schmeichel upgrade Hart, and there are dozens of tweets from when Kasper Schmeichel first came in at Celtic, from Celtic fans saying he's an upgrade on Joe Hart. At the time, everybody said he was better than Joe Hart when he came in. But is the distribution gone as well?
Yeah, I think his distribution recently has been poor. And again, I was at the game on Sunday against Kilmarnock, and you see it live. He likes to do things quick, and I get that, but you've got to be accurate when you do that, and especially when you're having a tough time of it. I think there's also a period where you can slow things down. Make sure you do things, I'm not just saying safe, but make sure your passes, your distribution is going to one of your teammates, because ultimately they're small things that the fans will jump on. If you're having a bad time as a goalkeeper saving the ball, if you're giving the ball away also when you're in control of it, that's an issue for me. You speak about confidence, he is lacking in confidence. You can see that. I think distribution, saving the ball, making mistakes, he's under a lot of pressure and scrutiny at this moment in time.
Okay. Michael, you said he should. The guys are splitting this into two different arguments, which I get, because I think a lot of people will do this. The guys all agree with you that he should be dropped, but they don't think he will be tomorrow. Do you agree with that? Do you think Martin O'Neill sticks by him?
Actually, I don't. I don't think he'll stick by him. I think he stuck by him. I think he stuck by him previously, but after Thursday night showing, I think he's got to drop him. To be honest with you, I don't think it's fair if he on Schmeichel if he doesn't, because he's putting him out there. His guy's clearly no fit. His confidence is gone, and he really needs to take time off and try and recoup. And hopefully, the reserve goalkeeper will be in place tomorrow and get some game time ready for Thursday night and for next Sunday.
It's not. This will be the headline team selection, but just out of curiosity, whilst we're here, do you think we'll get a first start for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Look,
45 minutes last week and then couldn't play in Europe midweek.
And plus the fact you're looking, Bernardo come in on Thursday, get substituted. Hatate come on. He just doesn't look anywhere near the player that we all know he is. So I think it's a great opportunity.
After what happened to Celtic against Stuttgart, they need an immediate spark tomorrow. If Sinisalo plays, he had better have a really good game. Otherwise,
it's almost separate though, isn't it? Because the title race is so important. Because see, even if Celtic had beaten Stuttgart, if they drop points tomorrow, it would still be seen as, you know, as a disaster in the context of the title race.
That's why Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain must play. He can't play in Stuttgart next Thursday night because he's not in the European squad. So let him loose tomorrow, and he'll need to play against Rangers next weekend.
Okay, thank you to Michael. Paddy, everyone seems to say that he should be dropped tomorrow. Kasper Schmeichel, what's your take on it?
Well, I'm two minds, but I've come to a sort of opinion that he'll play him. It's just too much at stake. Really high pressure game, and there's they're all going to be high pressure games. And okay, he had a miserable night the other night, but I think he'd probably sit down and talk to Martin O'Neill. I would imagine that they're just both of them very long in the tooth. What concerns me a bit about Martin O'Neill, as far as I remember from the past, he had a bit of a blind spot when it came to keepers, you know.
Cammy, talk to us about the dynamic, because everybody knows it's just different from other positions. There is only one, and you know everything that goes into that. It would be. Is it harder because he's Kasper Schmeichel?
Yes.
And then what can that send sort of negative shockwaves around the dressing room, or do you know what I mean? Is there more to consider than just the form? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I think it's again, you've got a goalkeeper with a huge amount of experience internationally. He's been brilliant for Celtic in periods as well. I don't think you can just look at that as well, but I think it does make the decision really difficult. Ultimately, if we're talking about a young goalkeeper, or Sinisalo's in goals at the moment and he's making mistakes, it's easier to drop these guys. They've not got such a high profile and an influence in the dressing room. It's a difficult one because it is such a specialist position. Sinisalo will be waiting for his opportunity, but he'll understand as well that he's up against an international goalie that's got so many caps for Denmark. He's played so many club games as well, and huge amount of experience, that's going through a rough period. So it'll be interesting, because Paddy's right, there's a huge amount of pressure on these games, and when there's scrutiny on a goalkeeper that gets pulled out the equation, the goalie that goes in gets a huge amount of scrutiny put on him as well. So there's that pressure that Sinisalo needs to deal with. It is him.
But there's pressure on Martin O'Neill tomorrow if he makes that decision. Because if they go out there and it's a tight game and he makes another error, then people are going to question Martin O'Neill's judgment of why everybody can see that Schmeichel is not in anywhere near top form. Why we continually go?
Then you flip it and you go, Sinisalo goes in, makes a mistake that costs him the game. It's a really difficult decision for Martin O'Neill, because we spoke about this before in goalkeeping positions. The scrutiny is completely, no matter what decision he makes tomorrow, everyone's looking at the goalkeeper.
Am I right in saying Jack Butland got taken out for Liam Kelly for an Old Firm game last season, towards the end of the season? I feel like we probably had similar discussions then of like, is he too big a character or too big a name or whatever to take out?
Martin O'Neill, for me, is this is not an ageist argument. He simply is an older guy, and managers from back in the day tended not to drop players if they thought someone was going to say, oh, he's responding to the crowd. Martin O'Neill might think, I stand by him. I don't care who booed him and why they booed him, and the ironic jeering when he saved the ball.
I don't think he'll make that decision on that, Hugh. I think Martin O'Neill, you talk about the older generation, he's a very experienced manager. He'll have a look at Schmeichel over the last couple of days, but he'll make the decision on the actual performance of Schmeichel. He'll think, hold on a minute, this guy has got the character, he will come out this tomorrow fine. Me personally, if I'm the reserve goalkeeper, I've been brought in for £1 million, right? I've not played a lot of games, but he's still a Finnish internationalist. You're sitting there watching a goalkeeper having howler after howler. I'm sorry, but I'm champing the door saying it's my chance.
Thank you, Paddy, who thinks Kasper Schmeichel will stay in. What about Laurie on the line? Hi, Laurie.
As always, for taking my call. My attitude towards Kasper Schmeichel is I'm inclined to agree with the previous caller, Paddy and Hugh. I think there's too much at stake here for Martin O'Neill to be left second guessing between Schmeichel and the young Finnish goalkeeper. I think Schmeichel will start. I think he'll be determined to atone for perhaps a couple of faults during the week. So I expect Kasper Schmeichel to be between the posts tomorrow. The main point I wanted to make, however, Gordon, was that, as they say, every cloud has got a silver lining. Now, as disappointed as I was that we lost to Stuttgart on Thursday, it matters not one jot to me what happens in the next game in Germany. What we have got to do is prioritise the league. And I think, in fact, it is a blessing in disguise because it eases the fixture congestion. I can remember a couple of precedents here. I remember when Celtic went to Seville, and I remember when Rangers went to Manchester when they played in St. Petersburg. The common denominator in both instances was fixture congestion, and arguably Celtic and Rangers did not win the titles in those seasons, owing, in my opinion, to fixture congestion.
Well, it is what it is, though, Laurie. They have to go there and play Stuttgart, and you have to care about what happens in Germany because it's the match before an Old Firm game, and Stuttgart came and wiped the floor with Celtic at Celtic Park. There is every likelihood they will wipe the floor with Celtic in Germany as well. The goalkeeping position becomes very, very important because if Sinisalo is thrust into that match, well, you have to hope that he has a very strong night and those in front of him manage to give him a bit of support.
No, I can't understand about that, Hugh. And I hear Laurie, and I can totally take on board his point. See, if you're involved with Celtic, you can't pick and choose when you want to be in Europe. If you go and say to Celtic supporters next year, by the way, you're not in Europe, hold on a minute, that's what the club's built for. We're a team that play. I totally understand the league campaign situation, right? It's important. I know where Celtic are, but you can't pick and choose when you're going to be in Europe.
Do you think the truth is in the middle, though, Laurie, where it's the manner of what happened the other night? So let's say Celtic lose 2-1, play quite well, lose 2-1, lose 1-0 in Stuttgart, slip out quietly and gracefully from the Europa League, and then, as you say, fixture congestion's not there, focus on the league, that's fine. But the other night was damaging because of the number of goals conceded, this underlying situation now with Kasper Schmeichel. Even if you think you want to stick by him, it's now become an issue because of the other night. You've got Martin O'Neill saying elements of the fan base need their head checked. So the silver lining doesn't look that silver right now.
Listen, Gordon, I believe implicitly in the blessed Martin, and Martin I trust. If we go and play an understrength side in Stuttgart on Thursday, that is of no consequence to me. I'm looking ahead. There are 30 million reasons for Celtic to win the league, i.e. the money gained by entry to the group stages. If Martin O'Neill manages to pull this off after the debacle, there was Wilfred Nancy, to me, that will relegate the raising of Lazarus from the dead to a warm-up act on Britain's Got Talent.
But in the meantime,
Celtic
Laurie,
can't be an underdog story,
No,
though, Hugh.
no,
I've
no,
said
no,
this earlier.
no.
I know they've had a bad season, Wilfred Nancy, etc. But we can't have the Celtic or underdog sort of thing.
The bottom line here, the absolute bottom line, is that from tomorrow until the 8th of March, there is a doomsday scenario. Celtic go out of Europe, which they obviously are about to do. They go out of the Scottish Cup because they're playing Rangers at Ibrox, and they lose to Rangers and Aberdeen, and you can forget about the Championship. From now until the 8th of March, the whole season is on the line, and the rotation of games, Hibs is crucial tomorrow. Stuttgart is crucial in the sense that I wouldn't like to be going to Ibrox having had a 5-0 hiding in Germany.
Thank you to Laurie. We'll speak to Chris and Greenock when we...
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
I've got ambitious plans for the final part tonight. I'm going to try and hear from some of today's managers. Going to try and preview Livy Rangers and take more calls as well. So let's crack on with Chris and Greenock. Hi, Chris.
Hi guys, how's it going? All right?
All good here. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm just going on about Kasper Schmeichel about the other night there, how people were jumping on the bandwagon, booing him and etc. and stuff. Maybe to get pass marks tonight. We got absolutely hammered on the park. Not one player in that park get pass marks. Obviously, a goalkeeper gets the blame because of a few errors, but going how tight the league is, we need experienced players on the park. And Sinsalo's a reserve goalkeeper for a reason. We need experience on the park to chase this title down.
What about form, though? I mean, obviously in an ideal world, experience is good, but to what point? Because as an example, right, I'm being extreme here, but if he makes another 2 mistakes tomorrow and another 2 the next day, are you just going to keep saying, but he's experienced? It must wear off at some point.
But has he been that bad? I think a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon.
That's a fair question.
I think Chris makes a very salient point. The Schmeichel issue is unavoidable, absolutely unavoidable. However, Celtic's problems run deeper than a poor goalkeeper. They are poor defensively. They are non-creative in the middle of the park, non-combative in the middle of the park, and up front there's nothing happening. In the wide positions, nothing happening. Schwanchara is trying his best, bit of a handful, but gets no service. Celtic have problems everywhere.
But the thing is, you need a quick fix.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of deep-rooted problems or whatever are harder to come by. If people are saying we've got a problem in goal, change the goalie. You know, that's why it's an easier debate. Nobody's pretending he's the only person to blame. Of course he isn't. But if you're trying to fix something for tomorrow and have an impact, it's an easy suggestion to make.
Yeah, it is. I think that is an easy suggestion to make, and there's obviously the question mark over it because Schmeichel has been to blame for certain goals. But I think Chris makes a brilliant point with regards to Celtic were second best on Thursday night. Again, in a number of areas. I watched them in the first half against Kilmarnock on Sunday. The defence does not help Kasper Schmeichel. When you're going through a bad period as a goalkeeper, you're looking at your centre halves to protect you. Again, stop shots coming in, make sure you've not got a lot to do in a game. I look at Trusty on Sunday, there's balls getting kicked up. He's misjudging it, bouncing over his head.
That's what I mean, he almost has to play tomorrow.
Yeah, but again, from a goalkeeper's point of view, you want a little bit more protection. You're actually saying to the guys in front of you, look, try and help me out here. I'm going through a sticky period. I'll hopefully come through it. But the guys in front of him don't give me much confidence either.
It sounds like a balancing act, Hugh, because see some of the shots that he let in the other night.
Yeah.
I don't think any defence is going to stop those types of shots coming at you. You know, it's not like he was exposed with players running through one-on-one time and time again. It wasn't like that.
Yeah, my assertion remains, if he's an honest professional, he should go to Martin O'Neill and say, I shouldn't be playing. But he won't, and therefore there's every likelihood
they
that he will
told
play.
you that literally no player does that.
That's fine. I'm glad to receive their information. But I go back to the point, you know, Trusty and Scales, do me a favour. And the idea of Celtic playing a weakened team, you know, the congestion fixture congestion that Laurie was talking about earlier, The idea that Celtic play a weakened team makes me laugh, because Celtic already have a weak team.
It's weaker though.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's players that wouldn't start a game.
But you're still in a position. I know what you're saying, Hugh, and everybody looks at the other night. Forget one thing. Stuttgart were excellent, top side.
Do you think they were though?
Yeah, I think they're a decent.
That's what confused me about the other night. And all this talk about the goals. I thought, believe it or not, despite losing 4-1, I didn't think Celtic were like horrific within the game. I thought they got some big moments.
I just thought they away from home. They're big, they're strong, everything about them technique. I just thought they had a good balance and good players all around the park. But I'm going to touch on, everybody's having a go at Celtic here, and because of what happened the other night. If they go and win their 2 games that they've got in hand against Hearts, they're joint top of the league.
Yeah.
You know, so you've still got to take that into consideration. And if they go joint top of the league, and if Rangers had to drop in and they beat Rangers, all of a sudden you'd be going, Celtic are firm favourites to go and win this championship.
We've done a lot on Celtic there. What about Rangers tomorrow? Cammy heading to Livingston, probably without Ryan Nadiri. I actually think there's a suggestion he might make it. He did miss training yesterday. Dujon Sterling's injured by the looks of things. What do you make of that task?
Yeah, listen, for me it's a game Rangers absolutely need to win. It'll be difficult in periods, but it's a game I fully expect them to go and win comfortably, because you look at Livingston. I know our friend Mar's in charge now, but you look at Livingston, they've won 1 game all season, so there's no evidence to tell me that Rangers, the form that they're in just now, aren't going to go there and steamroller over Livingston. It'll be tricky. They need to get that goal probably early within the game. But I fully expect them to have far too much for Livingston tomorrow.
It'll be like all games at Livingston, Cammy. You'll get conjunctivitis watching it, but in the end, the team with the better players will survive.
No. Somebody didn't watch Motherwell at Livy a couple of weeks ago. Passing masterclass.
Yeah. Brilliant they were. But
the new pitch is slick.
Yeah.
I
agree with the boys. Like everybody used to say, go to Livingston's a hard game. No, it's not. Go there, right attitude, play at your form. Rangers will pick up 3 points. I'm not saying it's got to be really comfortable, but I am not expecting a shock there at all.
Livy, performance level wise, looked a bit better in the last couple of weeks, would you say? Celtic Park.
Well, they took Celtic all the way, and they needed Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to get them out of trouble. So they took them all the way. They were 2 down to Dundee last weekend. Within 15 minutes, it was 2-2. There's a bit of resilience about the side, but I just have to think that Rangers, on the back of a 4-2 against Hearts, will believe that they can go there and maintain their challenge for the title.
Let's hear from some of the managers today then, to finish us off. Neil McCann saw his side, Kilmarnock side, get a late point at Tannadice.
To be honest, we weren't at our best today. I have to admit that. I think we're much better than we showed today. We still try to play. Fair play to the boys. I'm absolutely delighted with a point now, and it shows that there's a real spirit in this team. A real spirit. When it looked like maybe the game would go, they come up with a brilliant goal. So happy for Big Marley as well, but so happy for the boys, because when sometimes you don't always get what you feel you deserve, like last Sunday, and maybe today, I think maybe in reflection, Jim might feel like he should have 3 points, but this team just look a different beast in terms of what's going on, both in their heart and what in their mind. So they actually got me out of jail a wee bit today, because I made a poor decision. It was on me. I was telling an instruction to go into the field that was carried out, and it left that left side open, their left side or right, and the boys scored a worldie, so that's my mistake.
A good point for Kilmarnock. Is every point a good point at the moment, or how do you view that result today away from home?
Yeah, no, I think a point on the road's good for Kilmarnock. The form away from home has not been great this season, so Neil McCann needs to turn that around between now and the end of the season. I think getting any points on the board in any games for Killie is really, really important, and especially with a late goal. You know what I mean? That's a big moment. It'll give belief to the players going forward in the games they're going to face.
Here's John McGlynn, who lost at Tynecastle. Hearts, a vital win for them in the title race.
We're frustrated with our performance. We didn't really do enough to win the game. We got ourselves into some good positions in the first half, in the final third, but created very little from it, which is disappointing, because we had some good play to get to these positions. So we've not got any real, with the results. Hearts deserve to win the game, absolutely. Scott Bain's made 2 or 3 good saves in the second half that probably, kept the score down. And so we didn't really. It wouldn't have taken an awful lot for us to do a bit better in the game. We didn't take responsibility very well in the final third.
It's funny how that Rangers fan phoned earlier and said Hearts didn't deserve to win the game, but the Falkirk manager thinks they did.
Well, there's a surprise. But that's the way we roll in this particular city and part of the world. The deeper we get into this title race, the more bizarre the complaints and observations will be.
Sum it up, Gordon, today. What have we witnessed?
Yeah, I witnessed important 3 points for Hearts. You heard the Falkirk manager saying they deserve to win the game. Dundee United, Kilmarnock, I think that's a good point for Kilmarnock away from home. Keeps them in touch. Looking forward to tonight, St Mirren and Motherwell, another big game, and then a blockbuster tomorrow. Rangers Hibs, Livy Rangers. Sorry, Celtic Hibs, Livy Rangers. I thought that double day. But I think the big 2 in Glasgow will pick up the 3 points.
You almost forget about that game tonight. It's 7:30 on a Saturday night. Takes a bit of getting used to, Cammy. What do you think, St Mirren, Motherwell?
Yeah, listen, I've got to fancy Motherwell. I think they're off the back of a disappointment midweek in the Cup, getting put out, but I'm pretty sure the manager will get them on the road again, going the way they've been playing. They've been fantastic this season. It's not going to be easy because St Mirren are scrapping for their lives, so I'm really looking forward to that one tonight.
And the good thing is, Hugh, because of how brilliantly this is all set up, whether Rangers did brilliantly against Hearts and whether they've got the momentum and whatever potential scenario there is that sees Celtic League position improve, the pressure is on those two tomorrow after what Hearts did today.
I think the pressure is greater on Celtic because of what happened midweek and because of all that's going on around about the club. I think there's massive pressure on Celtic against Hibs, and I think that could be a draw. I think, as I said, the game at Livy will be what games at Livy look like, and Rangers will win narrowly.
Looking forward to it anyway. Whatever you're doing this evening, enjoy yourself. Tomorrow it is all set up. It should be an absolutely fantastic day yet again. We'll see what happens between St Mirren and Motherwell this evening, and then on to the latest edition in the title race. The guys have got you covered from 4 o'clock until 7 tomorrow afternoon, and the GBX is up next.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.